And we're just finishing up our warm-up serves, and we'll listen to our umpire doing the intro in 1 second, and I believe he's going to do the intro now. So we'll let him formally introduce the players.
Check, 1 2 1 2. Okay. Ladies, if you don't mind, I'll do introductions. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 2020 APTA National Championship. This afternoon we have a round of 16 ladies match. On my right, playing out of local Darien, Connecticut, Macy Elliott. And her playing partner, playing out of Monroe, Connecticut, Marcella Rodenzo. On my left, playing out of Washington, D.C., we have Lucy Nutting. And her playing partner, playing out of Unionville, Pennsylvania, Jacqueline Williamson. Whenever you guys are ready to spin, that'd be great.
So we are back, and
Sorry?
we're going to try to beat the rain here, you guys.
Rodesno.
Matt and Vicky.
That's what I said, no?
and
Rodenzo.
Vicky, two-time national
Rodesno.
champion. What does it
See?
take to win
Sorry?
nationals? Besides being damn good.
And thank you.
I guess playing throughout the year, gaining confidence, experience. In my personal experience, teaching helps as well. It makes you think on the court a little bit more differently. You think about different strategies, and then endurance and patience.
The patience word. You were. It was interesting when you and Anna came up and everybody's watching you. I remember the first time you guys came to Chicago when I lived there, and a bunch of people couldn't wait to see you guys. They heard about this team who were beating everybody, and they were watching you play, and they're like, "Where's all the firepower?" They're so precise.
Macy,
and they were that.
I'm
That was
holding
the
a
biggest
ball
word I
either
remember.
right
The
side
patience.
up or upside down. Your team will make the call.
I think everybody has to use their own skill. Some
The
players
ball's
have the
facing down.
firepower, some players
Lucy,
have the spins, and
your team-
some players have the
You want the
patience
Jacqueline
and
Williamson?
preciseness, and that's you gotta you use your best skill that you have and cover the weaknesses.
And you used those skills yesterday playing P-Cup?
I
You played
tried.
President's Cup for the first
tried,
time,
yes,
Vicky?
Yes, I had a great time, and I'm glad I was able to play for our region. And it was a great day.
Yeah,
I
you
had
can put
fun
them
with
right
the
there.
girls,
Yeah, that's
and
fine.
I hope I
Thanks.
can do it again.
Well, that was a treat for people who don't get to see you play this weekend in the
The
Nationals.
ladies were changing on
You
7.
don't have a regular
7
partner this
games.
year, and you're fighting off
We
some
changed balls, yep.
injuries. So hopefully next year you'll be a contender here again. But
Yes,
it was a
thank you.
treat to have you play P-Cup for the women.
Yes, thank you. That was my pleasure for sure.
Well, if you're playing, does it mean Javi has to watch the kids yesterday?
Uh, he did. I played first 3 matches, and he was watching one child, and then he passed her along, and then he went to work. And today he's playing.
Awesome. Okay, so quickly, how did Elliot and Rodesno get here, Matt?
Well, they've had a couple local teams in the first 2. They got through, and then they played
Do
a
anything
young
to stay
team out
warm.
of Chicago in Barnes
I
and
wish I'd be
Cavernau,
playing
where
if I
they
didn't have a knee
had a
injury.
great match, and they're kind of cruising. They have a lot of not only they have a lot of firepower, as you said, as Vicky said, that they are playing with a lot of confidence.
And real quickly, Matt,
and
Nutting and
Nutting-
Williamson.
had a local team, had another team after that, a local team, and then they took out the Owen and White team in a great match of 4-4. they're feeling their way in. They didn't play the first half together. They didn't really play, and then came on strong in the second half, and are, looking to keep that pressure. Williamson for years, she played with coaches, and they had some great results.
Sure, Karen coaches, and
Yeah.
they were a great
So-
team, top 16 in the country.
Mm-hmm.
And we're really going to get underway soon for this round of 16 match. I think they're waiting for the rain to start before they start play. Is that a good strategy, Vicky?
Just keep moving, talking and moving.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see Williamson and Nutting because Jade and I played them last year in the back draw at the Nationals, and Lucy was newer to the game, and I just remember her serve. It was a big serve, kick serve, and it was very athletic.
Yeah, that's it's something that is need to said is when you can take off the pressure, not having to hit a first volley every time, it makes a big difference. And if you can control a harder serve, it does make the game a lot more fun when you're at the net.
So Macy Elliott in the green top, teal. What color is that, Vicky? What color is that top?
Rodesno and Elliott to serve.
An assistant pro here took our
Good luck,
11 on
ladies.
right out of the country club at Darien. So she's got the home crowd support for sure.
And actually,
And this is Marcela Rodenzo starting to serve. Matt, can you please identify each player by color of their
All
outfit?
confirmed. 15 love.
So Redunzo is in the the white visor. Then we have the blue and white hat at the net, as you said, with Macy Elliott with the teal, I was told. Redunzo is the big forehand there.
30 love.
Williamson is the one that decided to go hatless, today. So
She's in the deuce court, far
She's in
side.
the deuce court, yes. And then Nutting is the one in the white hat in the ad court.
Well, this is such an important match that there's 4 commentators in the booth now for this. We're joined by Lisa Rudloff.
Oh,
And
little
Lisa
bad
just
luck.
finished up
30,
another match.
15.
And I think we're going to do a switcheroo, Matt, and switch you to the other
Yeah, I'm
booth on a
getting,
changeover.
I'll be taking a little break, getting ready for the guys' match in a little bit. Hoping that this weather
40
stays away.
15.
But
Match last night, match that we saw with Ruoff Manley. They just were a disciplined team, phenomenal court coverage. You know each other. I think in this match we have 2 teams that are very familiar with each other, have a comfort zone. So I think we'll see a little bit more of a teamwork type of play from both teams.
yeah, it's
I think this is a pick'em with a number 6 seed and a number 10 seed.
I think the big thing that we're watching is the movement.
Game.
Is so
Elliott
fluid.
Rodesno.
It's going to be interesting to see who can keep the
Elliott
momentum
Rodesno lead the
going
first
throughout
set.
this match.
1 game to love.
discipline. That's how I see Marcella and Liz and these girls. I find them very disciplined on the court. They will not go for the wrong shots, it seems like. They will hit the ball in a way that I always feel is going in. So very disciplined in their decision making, and
And it's
And that's Lucy Nutting serving in the royal blue vest.
You can see the
15 love.
The difference in the match we just did before, though, Patty, is the drives are coming. They're very patient, and they are, as you said, very disciplined. But
15
they're not.
all.
They're bringing it a little bit more.
Yeah, I think the pace of play is going to be much quicker for those viewers who happen to catch that Ruoff Manley win in the 32s. Okay, I'm going to make my pick. It's only the second game. I believe when you have a Philly Washington team versus a Connecticut, and you're in Connecticut, I'm going with Connecticut to pull this match out.
Well,
We are not allowed to make money bets, right?
No money bets allowed in this sport. There would no one would ever bet on this
30,
sport.
15.
Okay. Vegas has this, it's like a 52-48, going into it. The Redunzo Elliott team and this new team this year, they started off, Chicago. They came out of,
30
if you want to call
all.
it, nowhere for people and took out some seeds and made it out in Chicago to the finals, I believe. And, so they had a great thing. And as you said, as Vicky said, she's gotten the pleasure to play this Nutting
Advantage,
Williamson team.
Nutting
You
Williamson.
can see the difference between last year and this year.
Right.
Hey, and Elliot Redesno last weekend in Philly lost in the finals to
Deuce.
Hanish and Cooper. And, I mean, that was a gigantic, momentous, win for them coming into this Nationals, where all of a sudden, Macy, I've heard about her from Carl, and I've heard about her level of talent that she brings to the table here. Vicky, you're nodding your head, and I know about Redesno for a couple of years, having played with Miriam Cruz, but Macy Elliott is such a
Advantage,
treat to
Elliott
watch.
Redesno.
What a bunch of talent.
And Liz Cruz as well, right? Marcella had a great run with Liz Cruz
Mm-hmm.
a couple of years ago. I have not seen Macy play, so I'm excited to see all her.
Confirmed. Game. Elliot
all her
Rodesno.
Coming
Elliot
in,
Rodesno will be the
the
first
Connecticut
set.
area is
2
so
games to
strong
love.
in the teaching aspect as well too. But I know, I know that a lot of the guys are playing all the time together. It's great for this Elliot Redunzo team. is
15,
the
love.
practice they get. They get matches like this all the time in practice, which makes a difference. And sometimes when you're a team coming from an area with
30,
not as many
love.
high-level players, you gotta feel like getting into a match, not sometimes
Fault.
starting into the match.
Right.
Foot fault.
So the only head-to-head that
30,
we have close going
15.
into this match is Adam Lagundinus. Elliot and Redesno took out the team of Nutting and Prendergast, actually, in the finals. But Redesno and Elliot, the reason why I'm picking them in this match, you look at their losses this season,
40,
Flor and Annika.
15.
I mean, twice. They lost to Anika and Hanish in a match. They lost to Morgan and Sakura. If your losses are only to other teams in the top
5.
8 in the sport, top 5, that's phenomenal going into the Nationals. They don't lose to anyone ranked below them. And, they have enough poise and discipline with them in the early stages of this partnership.
Correct.
It's so
40,
impressive that,
30.
I mean, they could make a great run here at Nationals.
We were talking earlier about the Santa Barbara and some of our gentleman,
Deuce.
Robert Stahl. Well, the other person, he happens to be out there with this. For some of you guys might know a little bit in paddle is Mr. Mike Morrison. His little, rebellious
Advantage,
style
Elliot
of
Rodesno.
paddle with his midnight machete stuff. But
Midnight
he-
Paddle.
The Midnight Paddle is
Mo's
out
a
in
huge
Santa
fan
Barbara. He's
of-
out there. He's just giving it a shout out, saying he wishes he could be here, but he's not complaining about the sun of Santa Barbara.
Deuce.
Mo's Midnight Paddle gear is seen around tournaments, totally supportive, great guy, enthusiastic.
Loves the sport. It's been a big, supporter of it for years.
With the skull design.
Totally. So you talk about who's critical to get off to a fast start here, and it's Nutting and Williamson have to keep this match close. Matt and I talked earlier about front runners, and there's some teams who don't give up the lead when they're ahead in a match, and Elliot Redesno sort of have that feel to me about them.
Yes, I feel the same. I feel like if we see Rodesno, I'm not going to speak about Elliot as much because I don't know her game, but if I see Rodesno, the way she starts, I feel like that's how she's going to finish. And it's usually a very consistent and good start. So you will not see a lot of up and downs
Advantage,
from her.
Nutting Williamson.
I haven't seen Redesno play as much in the last 2 years. But I tell you, one of the things that's fun to watch her about is the way she just moves on the court. She's very
Game.
fluent, very
Nutting,
putting herself in the right
Williamson.
position.
So Maddie G, we're going to make a switch to
Elliot,
Lisa
Elliot
Barr.
Snow. The first set, 2-1.
2020 APTA National Championships out of the Country Club of Darien. Here, Patty Hogan. Vicky calls me Patty Logan or Hogan, and that's perfect because I can't say her name very well either. But I'm learning every hour here. I get tips on the air about what I should say and how to pronounce names. So I'm going out on a limb. Lisa Rudloff. Welcome.
15, love.
Good afternoon. All right, I'm kind of like Vicky, that some of these players are a little new to me. I have played Jacqueline Williamson in the past when she was playing with Karen Coaches. I don't know Lucy Nutting, and Macy Elliott is also a new player to me, so this can be fun to watch.
Lisa,
the
can you
matchups with
identify
this.
everyone on the court right where we see them right now,
Correct.
position-wise, please?
In the deuce court, well,
15,
now
all.
standing in the ag court. In the blue vest is Lucy Nutting.
At the net.
Correct. In the blue vest. And her partner, Jacqueline Williamson. And in the deuce court, on the far side, we have Macy Elliott and Marcella Rodenzo.
So 3 of these girls grew up playing in America, right? United States.
30, 15.
Say it again, Vicky. I
Sorry.
just had a hard time hearing you. Hold that thought, Vicky. So this is a beautiful backdrop here, Lisa. The country club set up, the stands here. I remember the Nationals last time 4 years ago. They were just packed on
Right.
Saturday and Sunday.
Right.
And that's what we'll expect to see. And I mean, look at this action in round of 16. This shows that, the improved depth in the women's game, and
Right.
not only good, solid paddle players, but explosive in nature, where they can bring the heat,
Right.
and makes it so enjoyable to watch.
Right. Well, this is such a strong community of paddle players, as you know, Vicky, in Connecticut. A lot of pros that play the game live here. But the support that we've always had at this tournament is spectacular.
Vicky, being a pro and knowing everything, can you tell me about where these players teach? Never mind, Vicky. I'm going to come back to you. I realize that you just are on a little break. Lisa, we talk about the value of these clubs with their pros who are such these high-profile women in the game, and these clubs are very generous in lending their pros to the APTA, and these players support the Grand Prix tournaments all weekend long. So we need to give a shout out to the clubs who share their pros.
Right. Well, Macy Elliott actually is an assistant rackets professional here at the Country Club of Darien. And Marcella Rodenzo at the Trumbull Racket Club in Connecticut.
40, 15.
All right, and Jacqueline Williamson, who is serving right now, is also a rackets professional at the Whitford Country Club in Pennsylvania.
Game, Nutting, Williamson. First set, match is tied, 2 games apiece.
This is kind of what we expected when you have a number 10, number 6. It's going to be a brawl out here, I think.
Looks like they're just all getting their footing.
15, love.
But you're right, Rodenzo is such a balanced, thoughtful player. It's always been tough playing her because you're never going to get any free
15
points off of
all.
her. To work very hard to win a point.
What are her biggest weapons, Lisa?
Well, her drives are unbelievable.
Forehand,
I
backhand?
actually think her volleys are some of the best. She's very stable, very balanced at the net. But you know, if you give her anything short on the baseline, she's driving both sides.
Yeah, and to complement that, she's got the speed, quickness. You talked about her balance. She just never looks bad hitting a
Nope.
shot.
No. And it's so wonderful to have the assistant professional playing on our hometown courts.
15-30.
Nationals.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun, a lot of support, also a lot of pressure.
It is, but sounds like they've been doing well this year.
30 all.
I saw a little bit of the replay of the Philly final, and I hadn't seen Macy Elliott play. I'd only heard about her from Carl Levenant, her boss, and she looks like she's got every shot in the book. And as you
Nice
can see
roller.
there, she makes the grip changes.
Advantage,
She can
Elliott
hit that
Rodesno.
roller.
Right?
She just has a great sense for not having played a million paddle matches for the situational, challenges, and seems to make really good decisions about her shots.
Deuce.
Rendenzo's made a couple of faults in this game. That's surprising. So that's what looks like Macy Elliott's trying to do. Get a nice steep lob, so Rendenzo going to step up and drive. That's what she's good at.
Yeah, I don't know if she thinks of herself as a setup player, because I saw her tag some balls from the Philly match, and she can do it all.
Advantage, Elliott Rodesno.
But I like the play from Williamson there, kind of closing in Lisa to try to pick that off. She knew the drive was coming, and
Right.
they're not going to volley well back
Deuce.
on their heels.
No.
They're going to have to be aggressive.
Right. It's interesting seeing Jacqueline Williamson on the deuce side.
That's right.
So I'm
She
used to
always
seeing
played
her
at
on
court
the
with
ad
coaches.
side. Her backhand is such a weapon.
Advantage, Nutting Williamson.
Actually, when you talked about it, pressure. This is Vicky again. Hello.
Welcome back, Vicky.
I feel like I actually think Marcella is a little
Deuce.
bit nervous.
It looks like
yeah,
it, right?
I think maybe she feels the pressure of trying to, for Macy, that there are a lot of people here to support her, and she wants to do well, and she wants to. She wants to be there
Advantage,
for her.
Elliott
Maybe I don't
Rodesno.
know how to put it
Right.
better, but
I agree. I think
And
that's a
where
really
nerves
good point.
when nerves come into it, with like a player like Renezzo, she kind of stays on one grip. Sometimes it does come through in serving or on
Right.
overheads versus ground strokes.
Right.
I agree. I think it really shows on the serve a lot of times, especially on the woman's side.
Oh, that's a great rip.
Yeah, that's for sure. If,
Yeah.
When you're nervous and all of a sudden you're looking up and you look up and you see someone like a Vicky on the other side about to clock another ball at your forehead, it does make you nervous.
Oh, yeah.
That was why I used to like to stay back sometimes.
You were nervous in the commentating booth.
At Macy's roller, I was watching while you guys were talking and commentating. It reminds me a little bit of Gabi Niculescu's roller. Not the same placement, but a similar contact point, and she hits it nice and deep, and it has the medium pace.
Wow.
Look at that.
That's tough.
Advantage,
Shot from
Elliott
position,
Rodesno.
too.
If she wanted to hit it right there, phew, that was very good.
So, Vicky, you talk about Gabby's roller overhead that she's famous for. What's the difference with Macy's with where she tries to aim her shot?
I only saw I saw maybe 2 or 3, but Gabi's roller is very effective on the deuce court. I think she uses it a little bit more on the deuce court side. And
Going after the deuce court
exactly,
player.
Exactly. But so far, Macy used it
Game. Elliot
at court
Rodesno.
player. To the first panel
Elliot
in the back. That's where I
Rodesno
saw
lead the
roller.
first set. 3-2.
So we're at 3-2 in the first set. 2020 Nationals out of Darien. I'm Patty H. with Vicky S. and Lisa R. with the UNEC crew. Round of 16 match. And I think the thing about the overheads, that's spot on, Vicky. That's why you're an expert analyst here today. And Elliot hits that shot. It's kind of like the reverse, like an inside out roller. Gabby's goes from outside in. When you talk about golf swings, which I know you guys know a lot about, you talk about outside in or inside out and what a natural tendency for some golfers have. Paddle players have the same things or not, and you're right. Gabby rips it, and you know how many times have we seen deuce court players chase that ball backside, where Elliot's hitting
15,
that ball
love.
right into the body of that ad player. I love that shot.
Right, and she hits a little bit up on the ball, so the ball spins but doesn't come up, so it stays nice and low.
So you hit up, but it goes down.
Yes, because I don't accelerate as these
15
girls.
all.
No, but
I
that's
slow
just-
down the ball.
That is
yes.
spot on, because when players look at these fabulous players play on the screen, they don't really know how they do it. So I love that you mentioned that literally they're brushing up and over, sort of like a topspin forehand.
15-30.
A couple quick points here in this game. Some loose shots. Okay, I formation for Williamson. It's always good to give your opponents a little different look when they're driving well. Always keep them guessing.
Thirty
Nice.
all.
Nice selection of overheads
Yeah,
by Williamson.
She does have a nice pace change on her overhead. She
Well, the-
always has. She holds the ball and
She puts a little spin on it
she
too.
does.
Vicky, I hate to put you on the spot. What if you get a beginner and they come out on the court and they see this and they say, "I want to get better. What should I work on next?" What do you know? It seems to me like a dividing line in the women's game is the ability of players to adjust the spins and speeds on their overheads. When do you bring that into play with your students?
I don't talk about spins until they feel comfortable on the court. Me personally. I want them to first have fun and be able to have enjoyable game,
Advantage.
positioning
Elliot
and
Rodesno.
adjust from tennis if they play tennis to paddle, so they get that mindset of where to stand and how to hit the shots. And then once they are comfortable and they want to add some
Game.
more to the
Elliot
game, then
Rodesno.
we talk about
Elliot
the
Rodesno
little
lead the first
spins
set.
and
4
other
games
adjustments.
to 2.
So that's great advice. You can't take everything on at once. You kind of have to pick your poison. Lisa, you teach a ton of
Full.
players out at Huntington Country Club.
I do. I think
Football.
that
Love 15.
what I try to tell my ladies, and I think Vicky is correct, I don't think you're adding into the spins and things like that, but maybe some pace change, but also at a certain level, if you have some good tennis players, you're going to have women that can drive really well. So what I try to tell a lot of my ladies is try to always alter what you're doing at the net, because they sometimes have a difficult time with the first volley.
15 all.
Always giving your opponent a different look, just so that they don't get too comfortable within their drive.
Right. So when you say beginners, I'm thinking players that have very limited racket skills. If you have, like you said, Lisa, players
30,
that have a lot
15.
of tennis skill, but are new to the game, I agree. That's when I think you can implement different spins earlier in the game.
Right.
40, 15.
Because a lot of the beginners have just one grip and they're comfortable with that. Once you can start adjusting the grips, you can talk about different spins.
Well, that's actually a very good point. The grips, trying to get the ladies to use a continental grip for their screen play. It's
Right.
not an easy thing to do. But it's
Correct.
probably the best thing to teach beginners.
Well, I think that's exactly the point. That Vicky, I find myself with other pros, you know, the people want to hit the heavy topspin, but they can't play a routine screen. So you've
Right.
got to get them back to the continental, a neutral grip that allows them to play everything, and then make a grip change for when they get the short ball, which they really would have time to make a grip change at that point.
Right.
So just this one point that they are playing right now, they were at least 7 times they changed the grip. One player. And
Game.
you see
Elliot
overhead, roller,
Rodesno.
volley, forehand, backhand.
Elliot
So it's a lot
Rodesno
of
lead the first set.
little adjustments
5
that you have
games
to make,
2.
not to mention footwork, to hit all these shots.
You know, one of the things I find at a certain level with players, you need to expose them to the spin to show them how to hit it so that they know how to recognize from
Yeah,
their
7
opponent
games,
the
ladies,
shots
sorry.
coming.
My mistake.
Because I know if someone's teed up and I see their grip
Should be
way
more.
over, almost like a backhand, you know, a backhand grip, I know they're going to hit a cutter to me. And I know
Right.
the ball's going to be low, and I
Right.
know it's going to spin a certain way. If I see the grip over, like a semi-western and western, you know that heavy roller, you know that
Two
ball's
serving
going to
5.
bounce and go in a
Right.
different direction. And so you might not be that you're going to have the ability to bring it into your
Love
game,
15.
but you've got to recognize
Recognize,
it,
I
because
agree.
what separates these players and make the game look so easy and slow is that they recognize the
Right.
spins and they know where to position
Love
themselves to play
30.
the next shot from the baseline.
Well, even recognizing what's happening next is your opponent's driving, or are they lobbing? When I think you're first trying to
Love
teach
40.
people how to play the game, just the recognition of what's happening next. Jerry Viant was always such a, and is a proponent of being in position at the net, especially before your opponent hits the ball.
Well, it's hit, position, and wait. And players who hit and wait and then react,
Right.
Right. Yep.
they're never going to take out a team better than they are.
Right.
And that's what we saw in the first match that Maddie G and I did. You just saw Omuller playing her match with a new partner, Sins, and they just didn't have that familiarity to be comfortable moving with each other at the net,
15,
and just
40.
left giant holes for Ruoff and Manley, who just waited it out until they got that open spot.
It's a very good point to react or to be ready for the player that is about to hit the ball, that you already have a feeling where the ball is going.
Right.
Thirty, 40.
That's Jacqueline Williamson serving.
Oh, they're staying back. Interesting.
And they both can stay back, as you guys see. They can be on the same side on the baseline to
Right.
position the player who maybe is stronger out of the ad court on that side to start the point.
Game.
There is never,
Elliot
there is no shame in
Rodesno.
staying back.
Elliot
no shame in
Rodesno
staying
win.
back.
First set, 6 games to 2.
We will be right back after these messages right here on the APTA network, presented by eNet Live.
The world of Rolex is filled with stories of perpetual excellence. For Rolex and tennis, the tradition began in 1978 and has grown to include the most iconic majors and tournaments since, supporting the legends, champions, and rising stars committed to the future of the game. This is a story of perpetual excellence, the story of Rolex.
You can't put wings on a car. You can't see an accident coming. or walk away from one like this. You can't make a car talk.
How can I help you?
You can't fight gravity. And you can't make one of the world's best SUVs even better. Go on, tell us what else we can't do. The all-new GLS.
Are we ready to go?
Possibly the safest, most spacious, most Mercedes SUV ever made. Mercedes-Benz. The best or nothing.
Welcome back to the APTA 2020 Nationals. We are at the Country Club of Darien, and this is a round of 32 match in the women's main draw. And Macy Elliott and Marcella Rondenzo won the first set 6-2 over Lucy Nutting and Jacqueline Williamson. And Macy Elliott and
15,
Marcella
love.
Rondenzo are closest to us. And right now, Marcella Rondenzo is serving.
Thirty, love.
Beautiful rip from Lucy Nutting. She didn't make it out of that ad court there, but you can see the girls got game. I'm Patty Hogan alongside Vicky S. and Lisa R.
I'd like to make a little bit of a shout out to our tournament directors. We have Carl Levenant, Mark Fischel, Tiernan Cavana. Carl Levenant is the pro
40,
here, right?
love.
Country Club of Darien. And Jackie Cameron. We put a lot of work into these nationals. This is a huge undertaking. 128 draw for the women.
Probably 128 volunteers.
Okay.
The winner of this round of 16 match
Game,
potentially could
Elliot
come out against tournament number
Rodesno.
2 seed Andreikova Zabori if the draw
Elliot
holds
Rodesno lead
true
the
to
second
form.
set.
Okay.
1 game to love.
So Vicky, you're part of this very special community up here in the Darien, Connecticut area. Can you rattle off the clubs that are used for play this weekend in nationals? Can you give me 10? I'm putting you on the spot.
I worked at about 4 or 5 of them, so
I knew this would be easy for you.
okay, you want me to
I do, because
Okay, let's
clubs
do
are
it.
so
Let's do
generous
it.
giving up their courts for the nationals.
Okay, Country Club of Darien. Here we are right now. I'm gonna say Round Hill Club, which I wanted to also make a shout out to our ladies there and men, where my husband works, and we are very happy there. I hope they're happy with us.
15,
Woodway
love.
Country Club, New Canaan Field Club, Weeburn Country Club, Middlesex, Wheat Beach, Waveney. and
30.
then
I
we
didn't
are-
even ask you for alphabetical order. Did
Lake
you say
Club.
Woodway? That's amazing.
Lake Club. Oof, come on.
Well,
Greenwich
you've done
Field
well.
Club,
That's
Country Club of Greenwich, Stanwich. I think that was more than 10.
And this is the base club, and we have 128 men's teams, 128 women's
love.
teams in total this weekend. It is a monster undertaking of, you know, the logistics of this, just to plan lunch for everybody in the same place, the parking. And, you know, this is the sweetest part of it. You finally get to the weekend where we get to watch amazing, talented players.
And the location of these clubs is amazing. They have are close to 95, Highway 95, Merritt Parkway, lots of places to eat. Stamford has a lot of great restaurants if someone wants to go, and or even go to New York City, not too far,
40,
at
15.
night for a basketball game or hockey.
These points have been very quick.
Yeah, the pace of play here
Yeah.
pretty fast. Not a surprise from both of these teams.
Right. Although Marcella Rondenzo can stay out there for a while. Well, she likes to drive, but she
Yeah,
can
but
also bear down and play
She
some
won the
long
first
points.
set, 6-2.
Yeah.
She can do
Right.
whatever she wants. It's up to Nutting and Williamson here to kind of, I mean, it's early in the second set. The first set, forget about it. But I'll be curious to see if they try some different tactics out here.
Great
Rodesno
coverage by
Elliott are a
Elliott.
little bit more patient. They're waiting for the right opportunity to put a little pressure, force a mistake.
close.
So Vicky, of all skills, when you get to teach
40,
your players,
30.
when do screens come into it? Some people play a couple seasons and they're like, oh, when I play a couple more years, I do the screens. What do you do? How do you introduce the
Yes.
screens?
Are we talking about beginners that
Yeah,
are new
the
to
beginners
the game?
who are not familiar with paddle.
Okay.
And
I like to give them a little bit of understanding of the basic screens at the beginning, so they know
Advantage, Nutting,
what's coming
Williamson.
in the future. But I have been seeing a lot of ladies that finish their match. They come off the court and they tell me, Vicky, we did some screens, but we didn't get to hit overheads because everybody was driving. So
yes,
I
we hear that all the time in
Yeah,
our
so,
profession.
then we focus on the volleys, but I said, we do need to do some screens because it's just a matter of time when you will need it. So
Game, Nutting, Williamson.
Well, and I think that's the first screen error as we're
Match is
talking about
tied,
screens
one
from
game
Rodesno.
apiece.
since
Second set.
2015.
Exactly. We talk about Hall of Famer Bobo Delaney, who hasn't missed a screen since the 80s. And, what happens out here, these players can slow down the game if you don't use the screens. It's really hard to slow down play.
For sure.
And so it's one of those things where I see people who are eager to play screens in the beginning of their play. It sort of helps them make some decisions, a little bit sooner in their game with a lack of match experience. Just knowing that if you lob, you're gonna probably play a screen on the next shot.
15,
And I think
love.
all of these players out here are so smooth on the screens, you don't even notice it. But it's worth pointing out because as I was thinking through, how do you slow it down? We would all let more balls go through,
Right.
Like
play the
that.
ball off a screen or two all day long, throw
Buy
up
your
some
time.
lobs, try to back the team up from the net, create some open spaces for yourselves as the baseline team.
Right.
I think it's so crucial to teach beginners screens. Just give them a
15,
look.
all.
The more they do it, they're not going to be afraid of it.
Right.
Like I think they try to block screens and then the play just speeds up and they don't have control on their shots. So even though they may not be getting them in their matches, like you said, Vicky, wow, that's a great shot. You have
It's
to
an
introduce
awesome
it.
shot from Williamson out of that juice corner.
15, 30.
I think teaching beginners, for me, it's the most rewarding thing. When a beginner makes a screen, it's such a happy face. I
Yeah.
see a lot of happy faces, and they want to hit more.
Right.
They want to hit more and more.
15,
So
40.
You just have to encourage them to do more and see those happy faces.
So I think it's worth
Game,
talking
Nutting, Williamson.
a little bit about the
Nutting,
Macy
Williamson
Elliott
lead
serve
the
now.
second set.
Yeah.
So
Two
have
games to
you
one.
guys seen it enough to comment on
Reminder,
it?
Elliott
It's an
Rodenzo
interesting
win the first set,
Form, how
6
she
games to
sidearms
2.
her serve, but it's not. I don't think it's super effective.
Well,
it does
I'm
stay
saying-
low. That last one sat up a
I
little
know you
bit, but it's
guys
an
know.
interesting.
Well, I
form.
watched the stream from the Philly final, and I was fascinated with it, and I was trying to stop the screen because it was so close to looking like a foot fault, but it wasn't. Her toss is so far in front. I mean, the furthest I've ever seen in front for a player. And then she literally is hitting the ball and stepping on the court with her right foot about 4 feet into the court. Gives her a huge advantage to get in really good position for that first volley. And I didn't see it hurt her in Philly. She had a remarkable consistency and pretty good depth, and the ball did stay down. And in this era where we see so many of the top players going to the sidearm
Yep.
serve,
Right.
Or
it's,
underhand,
it's right
but-
in there
yeah.
with the height of the bounce. It doesn't sit up for players who are so many, amazing high ball hitters out here, ball strikers on the return of serves.
Kind of surprised the women haven't gone to that underhand service as much as the men have.
Okay, well, I just have to say one thing. I think pickleball is an underhand serve. I feel like the paddle one, it's kind of that brushing
Sidearm.
shot, sidearm, like a topspin forehand in a way. And so I know as I've tried to hit it, I feel like I'm at a little disadvantage with my height. It's the first time I've ever realized that in the sport. To hit that low roller, my margin for error is so slim. So I'm not bringing it into my game quite yet.
I actually tried it last week because I see a lot of players do that, and when I was loose and we didn't play points, it was great.
Right.
You know, when you can do a little top spin, a little back spin, stays nice
First
and
point.
low. It's
Love
fantastic.
15.
And then we started playing points, and you get a little nervous. You do need to use it in the matches to get confident,
Right.
because it looks like it's very easy, but it's not. Depends where you make a contact. If you are hitting it a little bit above the net, I think you can get more serves in, but you need some kind of topspin because then the ball is going to bounce
Love
up.
30.
And if you hit it below the net, you know, you need a little topspin so the ball bounces out.
Yeah, the ability to generate some pace as you hit that ball is crucial. I don't know if you've seen Adam Morgan play this year yet, but I remember seeing him at the start of the season at the Pro Flight event at Fiddlers, and a lot of the guys, Johan, Steven, Adam. But I love watching Adam hit the serve, actually. He just throws his entire
Love
body into
40.
it. And, I mean,
I haven't seen it.
hugely
That's
successful.
confidence.
And speaking of Adam, Adam had a tough loss last night at the end of the men's P Cup with Brian Colmar. They lost an incredible match. They were up
Chicago.
6-3 tiebreaker to Max and Anton Lipiver,
yeah.
and Prosenko pulled it out. Look at that power, that 200 backhand from Williamson.
Nice.
Right.
Great ball is there.
Game.
To be
Elliot
honest,
Rodesno.
I'd like to see
Match
Jacqueline
tied
Williamson back in the ad
2-2,
court.
second set.
I do
I don't
remember
know,
Lisa
I don't
when
know
she
nutting well
when she-
enough how she plays on the deuce court, but I feel like they're at a little bit of a disadvantage having her play on the deuce side. No.
Well, see,
Very
I think
Unless
it
she
takes
does that.
away the
Unless she
middle
does
of the
that, yeah.
court, personally. And I remember coaches Williamson well when they played. And I always wanted Jacqueline to hit either more forehands or sneak over and just get some easy shots out of the middle. Take the
Love
middle away
30.
as a safe shot.
Right.
Because in the women's game, that middle is safe shot is a huge part of play.
Right.
In order to slow down the game and control the pace of play on your overheads.
Fifteen.
It's like the backhand
30.
though, from the middle.
Right. I just don't know if she's feeling it the same way. She can't turn her body as much.
Yes.
Well, she's
She
getting
has a
the
better
looks and
angle on the.
to Rodesno's credit right there, you guys. That's what club players don't do. Jacqueline teed off on another ball. She made her last couple, and Rodesno just let the ball go. She knew the ball was going to be,
30
maybe it was
all.
in, maybe it was out. I couldn't tell from my vantage point here. But she was super cool, and she was in transition. She just had the wherewithal to let the ball go because it was really above her knees. She was 3/4, off the net.
She's a
Wow,
great judgment.
There's that
Mhm.
spinner again.
There it is.
That's a great
That's
shot.
it. Drop nice and low.
Great
Wow.
volley by Rondenzo.
Really good hands.
Yeah.
Nutting was nice enough to hit it twice right to the sweet spot on Rodesno's paddle there. And I think
Still had
that's
to
the
make 'em.
difference and the growth that I see in players in the game when they can spot. I mean, I've seen Vicky do it forever to people and just hold the shot, set them up, let them commit to their volley, and then go to their weaker side.
Oh,
You got your wish, Lisa R.
Right.
Jacqueline's
There,
in the
let's
ad
see.
court.
Oh,
Yeah, so much for that
she was
strategy.
happy for a second.
Elliot Rodenzo.
Actually, I think that's a really good point, Patty, about the hold and waiting to see if your opponents are going to move a little bit at the net. And you were very good. Vicky
Well-
was very good at that. Not over hitting the ball, but just finding the hole, finding the spot. You don't have to hit
Game.
it at 100
Elliot
miles an hour. You hit
Rodesno.
it 20 miles an hour in the right spot.
Elliot and
And you get the
Rodesno lead the
mistake.
second set, 3-2.
All right.
And I think, Lisa, one of the advantages that Vicky had, besides being super cool and super talented,
Thanks, Patty. H.
So poised, Vicky S, and just relaxed. And Vicky knew that she was going to hit the shots when she was damn well ready to hit the ball. And no one rushed Vicky into her shots. And I think that's when you see the separation in the women's game, where the players who have that poise and discipline, just to wait one more second. Because Vicky, I just see you had such an ability to open
Love
up the court and then
15.
capitalize on the openings, where some people can open up the court and then overhit, where you'll open up the court, you'll let them commit to covering that spot, and then you'll be like,
15
okay, start
all.
running again for the nether spot. Like, you were not, you did not bet the bank on the first shot that presented itself to you. And I always think that's what makes you one of the greatest players that our game has ever seen.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
I think the greatest women's player we've ever seen, to be honest, but
Oh,
that's just me.
15,
I don't think so, but thank you.
30.
I shouldn't think that way. I think I think
15, 40.
the way I play personally also reflects I'm off the court. I like to play safe, so I play safe on court and off the court. So I don't like to make.
Do you drive safe well, too?
Yeah, Lisa is making a inside joke here because I drive very safe,
granny.
always inside of the speed limits.
No, like a grandmother.
So I don't like to overhit. Sometimes I underhit. I actually think when I play that I could have hit a little bit harder, but that's my opinion, you know.
Well, our opinion, why we think you're one of the greatest, if not the greatest, is I always thought was remarkable in watching you would be you would have the opening, the
30,
players off the net.
40.
You would wait till they started to close, and then you had the ability to even put the ball in front of where they went to close you off. And because you didn't hit, you made that player work so hard on the volley. You know, I played forever against Ari and Vion and some of those players in
Game,
a different era,
Elliot
mostly. And
Rodesno.
they just made you, great
ladies,
teams make you work really hard. Where I feel like with the power coming into the game, there's so many times where some of these top women let each other off the hook, where the off speed
Elliot
makes
Rodesno lead
would
the
make someone
second
work
set,
so
4 games
much
to 2.
harder on the next
Reminder,
volley.
Right.
First set.
You know who's
Elliot
also very good
Rodesno,
at that is Carrie
6 games to
Delmonico.
2.
Yes.
Oh, Carrie
Yeah.
is as good as anyone in the game right
Right.
now. And back to the score, we're at 4-2, second set here with Ellie and Rodesno. They won the first set over Nutting and Williamson.
We can take a close look on that serve now. And
Right.
See a little bit
Love,
better.
15.
I think they had a ball change as well.
Vicky, you might want this serve.
I don't know if I want to change what I have. I'm just happy to get it in right
Just
now.
to add variety to it. I mean, even though you're great, you can even become greater. No, and I think that's the thing with the guys in the game, where you see so much of the rolling shots, Vicky, with the
Love,
serves. It gives them
30.
the alternative. And I see a lot of the guys, as righties, serve roller, deuce court, traditional serve into the ad court corner.
Let's see.
Yeah, you see where that her
She's-
my right foot steps,
Love,
is 1 foot
40.
inside the baseline. Hers is, I don't know, like 5 feet in. Again, both players staying back. With
decision to
Desno
stay back.
staying to
Yeah.
the
And how
left of the
she-
server.
Yeah, she's
Stayed
just
on
trying
her
to keep
side.
that serve nice and low and get in the. Oof.
Game. Nutting, Williamson.
Looks like she was kind of upset with that service game.
Mm-hmm.
Elliot Rodesno lead the second set. 4 games to
It's
3.
okay. Sometimes it's okay to, to hit one if you have to, and then you can calm down and get back to your game.
The good news is it's not raining yet.
Exactly.
Right, it's supposed to come in at about 4 o'clock, I've heard.
Lisa, can you take us through the draw? Give us some potential matchups for what we might see in the women's quarterfinals if
Can't
the
see.
seeds hold form.
3-4, ladies.
The
Alright,
winner
well,
of
where
this
are we
match
now?
potentially comes up against Andreikova and Zabori.
Ah,
We do know that.
right.
15,
And
Love.
then where are we even on our second court
So Curtis
next to us?
Curtis Jaffe, Andreikova and
Okay.
Zabori have to get past Curtis
Yes,
Jaffe.
and that's gonna
We
be
know a little
tough.
something about that Curtis Jaffe team. Both of you
I
are
know a
former
little something
partners or
about
current partners of
Liz
both of those
Jaffe.
women.
Right.
Which one do
30
you know,
love.
Lisa?
I know very well one of them. Yeah, I mean, that's a great team, Jaffe and Curtis. Jaffe's just going to stay out there all day. She's going to make that team work. And Curtis, well, you know Curtis very well. She's going to be the powerhouse on that team. But
40
the
love.
Drakova, Zabori, they're very talented.
They had a great season this year, right?
They really did. Talk about calm.
Martina, yes.
Very calm on the court. Zabori can make some silly mistakes, but she's so talented.
Yes. A lot of different chances, different spins and
Yep. So
tweeners.
there's matches
Game,
being played all
Nutting,
over the place.
Williamson.
We're lucky to have this match right here,
Second
but
set,
elsewhere,
match
number one
ties.
seed
4
Cooper
games apiece.
Hanisch. They potentially, they're going to play Manly Ruoff in their next match. That's going to be a tough round of, that's going to be a tough quarter. Delmonico Gebbia look like they're cruising through. They play Providence Fizz, Guillaume Molenveld up against Nuzlocke
Right.
Proutsis, it looks like. We have Darson Shea, who we would all pick probably take out Nuzlocke as the number 15 seeds. And then this is our match here, and Drakova Zabori await the winner of this
15
match.
love.
And Delmonica Gebbia won their match.
Yeah, they won 0-0.
Love and
They're
love.
playing Prop Fizz.
Mm-hmm. And Cooper Hanisch won as a walkover, correct, in the round of 32.
15
Right.
all.
Unfortunately.
So we have the 16 matches still going on. There's a battle out there. The newly formed team of Anika and Kazakevich against Guillaume Molenveld.
It's exciting to have Anja Kazakevich back.
15-30.
I haven't seen her for years. Last time I saw her was playing the semi here with Heather Prop against Dardison Shea, I believe. Wasn't that the last semi that they played in Connecticut?
We lost to them in the quarters,
Okay.
Anna and I, and then they lost to, either Gabi and Martina or Amy,
Or Amy and
I
Cynthia.
don't remember.
They had a
which team.
three-set battle, I think. One of these courts. Now there's that backhand. Look at that get. Unfortunately, it hits the umpire's chair and you lose the point.
Delmonico
15-40.
and Gebbia went out in 3 grueling sets to Dardison Shea in the semis.
It's out of play. Touch it. Touch
So
it.
then it
It's out of
was
play.
Nicolescu.
15-40, ladies.
Sorry, I didn't chime in early on
Right.
that. Someone was telling me something else. I have no idea what they were telling me either.
Okay, we're 4-all here.
Yeah, this is great for
This is-
Nutting and
yeah.
Williamson to
All right.
bring this.
Yeah, they're
Game.
coming back.
Yeah, they
Nutting,
are.
Williamson. Nutting, Williamson lead the second set. 5
They
games
discovered
to 4.
something.
Yeah. Alternative events.
Play out of MAPTA down the Philly, Washington, D.C. area. Philly strong. Another great area who hosts Magical Nationals.
Five, 4, ladies.
Okay, well, I have just learned a trick about how they keep score here at the Nationals in Darien. And they go 1 game at a time. So if a team wins a game, they have 1. And then if they win another game, they have 2. So I'm just getting the hang of it. And I've just been informed that we're at 5-all first set of the Guillaume Molenveld Anika Kazakevich match.
Next to us.
That's where they're playing, Lisa. I hadn't even noticed that.
CGO.
This interesting second set with Elliott and Radesno here. I just felt like they were so strong in the driver's seat, and then all of a sudden, not a lot of momentum.
This is an important game. A little off pace.
15, love.
And sometimes it changes, and there's not really a reason. It just, just maybe a little higher level of execution.
Right. I think sometimes the team that takes a few more chances in those tight situations, sometimes they're victorious because they're nervous. The other team's nervous.
15 all.
And right there, Radesno just lined up that backhand, and Nutting had a choice: stand
Right.
here or move forward. And I think that's where you have to commit.
Right.
Go a little forward on that volley and
Right. If you're going to stand
try to
there, be
get
ready.
that ball before it gets below the level of the net more.
Right. Nice lob.
Nice.
All right. I wanted to see Williamson on that
15-30.
outside.
Yeah.
15-30. Oh, forehand volley under the net.
15-40.
It's kind of rare that you get to nationals and you have all these matchups with teams who have not played each other, but when you have some pickup partners at the last minute, it's sort of
Right.
what happens a little bit. Nutting and Williamson don't play that many tournaments, as a whole, so
Right.
they've never seen this team. And most of
Not
us haven't.
And when you get into these tough situations, these tighter situations, that's where that teamwork could maybe potentially break down.
But I feel like all these girls have a long history of tennis, college tennis, or I feel like when they play first couple of games, and then they see certain shots and they adjust very fast.
They settle down.
Yeah.
A lot of back and forth overheads, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which could be a recipe for disaster. Great push overhead.
Yeah. Marcella just waited for the right one. She didn't feel like she could go to the screen, so she was patient, went for the middle overhead. Nice and soft, and now she see an opportunity.
Keeping it away from the Williamson backhand, unless you can get it to the screen. That's a safe spot.
Mm-hmm. She closed in. She saw it coming.
Okay, there's your screen. So Williamson, she stepped up on that forehand.
Oh,
Nice.
oh,
Wow,
nice
and almost
point.
ran it down.
30-40.
That's a big point. Wow.
So Patty, what was your weapon when you used to play?
I like to
Or
run
should I
around
ask
a lot,
someone
Vicky.
else?
I like to run. Now I kind of learned early on, coming from a tennis background, walking onto the paddle court and immediately feeling comfortable with the screens. I became a very defensive-minded player. So I kind of was determined to be like Bobo and never miss a screen, and be like Bobo and never miss a volley, and never miss an overhead.
Okay.
And
Deuce.
I was a firm believer that in every match, you could win or lose every match, and it was about taking away your opponent's weapons. So sort of working your way, starting out the match if I wasn't familiar with someone, or if I'd played them over and over and over, don't reinvent the wheel. Just stick with a formula and be disciplined enough to play it out, and you ride the waves. Sometimes people just get on a roll. It's never about
Advantage,
someone being
Elliot
lucky or not,
Rodesno.
but it's sort of, I think I played a million matches and just had the maturity to sort of wait my way through, and I always welcome that, at all you ever want to go into a tournament is to give yourself a chance to win. So that means you have to
Game,
win every
Elliot
match. So
Rodesno.
I was always
Second
disciplined
set,
about
match
my
tied,
approach
5
and
games apiece.
picked really good
Reminder,
partners. Vicky.
Elliot Rodesno win the first set 6 games to 2.
That's very important too.
Well, you know, you spend so much time out here. It's such a commitment, and so you want to enjoy yourselves. And I was lucky enough to have
Love
a
15.
lot of great partners. Had a great run with Cindy Prendergast, and sadly, Cindy and Lauren had to bail today.
I was watching Cindy yesterday. She was playing very well.
She's
Amazing.
phenomenal talent.
Beautiful hands, beautiful placement of the ball,
30.
her drives. Very, very nice.
Cindy's played in, I think, as many women's national finals as any women's player. I think it's 15.
Wow.
I think we played in 6. She played with Connie Jones
Love
in 1.
40.
She played with Lauren Zink in 7. I mean, talk
Amazing.
about high-level play. And Cindy just had the right approach and the best sense of humor to
Yeah.
get through tournaments, which was, you know, to me, you know, I love playing with Cindy because, and all my partners who had a joy for just competition and playing. And,
Right.
you know, we were lucky. And at the end of the weekend, we're all driving on 95 back to our normal lives. And this is a gift that we've been exposed to this. And all 3 of us are teaching pros. We didn't grow up playing it necessarily. I never even heard of the sport before I started teaching at Beacon Hill tennis. And so I think you get a lot from the sport when you have that appreciation and gratitude for what the sport has given to all of us.
And it's a switch sometimes for the tennis players who come in here. This is such a warm community of people, and sometimes the tennis community isn't necessarily that way. And it's, I love the social aspect of paddle.
It's refreshing for sure.
Yeah,
You are still playing sort of tennis, using your tennis
Right.
skills.
right.
And then, like you said, when you finish the match, then you are hanging out with your partner and you can talk about other things too.
Right.
I'll tell you the amazing thing about this sport as well when you talk about partnerships. I always think if you're a fierce competitor and if you're nice, a lot of people want to play with
Play
you.
with you.
If you're a fierce competitor and highly talented,
Right.
but maybe not the nicest person, you're
You
not
won't
going to
find
get a lot of
partners.
phone calls
Right.
leading up to tournaments, or people aren't going to pick up your calls. And, you know, that's I think the camaraderie builds in this game as a result of that. And so even when I see some new players who come from a little bit of a different background, from the tennis background, I feel like for the most part, they kind of get the joke.
Yes.
Or feel like if you want to be a part of it, then act a part of it and honor the community and the friendships and the mutual respect and regard for every player
confirmed, balls
the entire
out.
time you're lucky enough to be a participant out
Nutting
here.
Williamson. Nutting Williamson lead the second set, 6 games to 5.
So
I agree with you. I think this sport teaches us a lot to be a better person, or maybe not a better person, but to appreciate the community that we have. And sometimes you can be 2 very nice people, but you don't click on the court, and that's okay too.
right, and you do see some teams that will have a short-term partnership, and you're like, oh wow, wouldn't they be great? But it's kind of like peanut butter and jelly. It's got to work together, and you might have a phenomenal ingredient and phenomenal ingredient,
Exactly.
but you don't mix vodka and gin. It just doesn't come out well.
You don't?
Oh, that's a good comparison.
All right,
Love
well,
15.
And I think, you know, you talk about, you take some players, and all these players, you know, ranked in the top 15 in the country, the sum of their parts adds up to a greater, you know, to the teamwork out here. And that's why they're out here battling it out in this match in the 2020 Nationals.
so both times Nutting and Williamson stayed back. They didn't come in on their serve in this game.
Well, all I have to say is, whew, Williamson and Nutting are getting stronger here, feeling looser. When you talked about the early nerves, we talked about it with Rodesno maybe a little bit. You know, where it shows up, nerves show up on
Line of sight. Cole stance.
on overheads or serves, but I feel
Love
like,
30.
don't you feel like Jacqueline Williamson has worked her butt off to pull this thing? You know, she's worked really hard and has been really effective here in this second set, whatever side she plays on. But she's got that intensity, and you can feel her.
Yes, she's in it.
You know, it's going to Lucy as well now.
Smart.
Cole stance. Ball back.
See,
Love
Lucy stepping
40.
into her forehand a little bit more too. I feel
Right.
like she was maybe a little nervous, or I'm not sure what it was, but her feet were not moving and she was swinging, and now I see her stepping into those drives.
Yep.
Yep.
I think players have to recognize if you have a team retreating, you don't have to hit the ball as hard right at that point. And kind of was a big miss on an open court right there. But
15, 40.
force the volley error right there. Double set point, second set for Williamson and Nutting. Oh my
Wow, what a
lord.
backhand.
30, 40.
There it is, Lucy stepping in.
I was wrong about that score.
Oh, she's really stepping in.
I feel like this adjustment they
Yes.
made, staying back behind their serve, not coming in, it's been helping.
Yeah, good tactical change. Hey, if I looked up and saw Elliot and Rodesno, I would do that as well. You've got to take away some of their firepower.
Right.
Remove yourself as targets up at the net.
Cole stance.
Got 3
Advantage,
calls in this
Nutting,
game that were
Williamson.
questioned.
I think that's nerves, like at this level of play. You don't really think someone made a bad call,
Right.
but I just think you're
No, I think you want it to be in.
you're
Yes.
just thinking out
Right.
loud. or
Right.
It's
You're
the
verbalizing
adrenaline,
your
sure.
thoughts right there.
I like that return of Elliot when they're staying back. She's not hitting it too hard and giving herself time to get in. Yeah. You're right. Williamson has really stepped up in this set. Gotten them back into strong position.
She got a little flat-footed there after her drives.
Advantage, Elliot Rodenzo.
A lot of chatter on the other court.
It's a new team, Kazakevich, Roxy Anika. They need to chat a lot now to get to know each other.
An
Yes.
emotional team, a charged team. So you see Rodesno just going on top of the net. Williamson and Nutting are showing that they're staying back. It's a great play by Rodesno. Just walks up on top of the net and assumes that her partner's going to put the ball in play and come in herself.
Oh, she's on leaning backwards hitting that
Advantage,
drive.
Elliot Rodenzo.
That was a big point. And that's where Nutting just has to, she doesn't
Go
have to
for
pull
it.
the trigger to try to win the point. She's just got to,
But she's
they're
got to
just-
go confidently.
they're so feeding each other with their drives. One drive leads to another drive, leads to another drive. You don't have to go for the win on the first one.
Sometimes what happens, she made a couple of really good drives, so she thought she could.
Mm.
You know, oh, I made 3-4 drives that won the point. All right, I think I can take this one too.
That's a great shot. Get the court open.
Nice.
Game,
Game.
Elliot Rodenzo.
What a tiebreaker.
Ladies,
right here, Williamson needs to say to Nutting, okay, I got you.
Tiebreak, ladies.
Ride me. Because that's really how they got into this tiebreaker in this second set.
I'd like to see them just slow down a little bit too, and just
Well,
talk to
Nutting,
each other.
just 2 quick errors there.
Right.
And that's where she's got to have the confidence with Jacqueline Williamson out of that deuce court that,
Right. Great hands.
you know, if they get the short ball, great. But just continue to make them volley.
Right.
I always say, when you have a great team on the other side, you don't have a winning drive. You've
Nice.
got to break them
great,
down.
1-0.
Her roller stays very low. It's very hard to control.
Elliott's roller.
It's very effective to the ad court.
Right.
No, and you were spot on in your analysis early on, Vicky S., about the difference with how Gabby hits that shot, and it's that inside out.
2-0. Elliot Rodenzo.
It's tough because it's also deep, so you have to make a quick decision. Do you want to block it or do you want to let it go to the screen? And there it stays very low.
Elliot Rodenzo. 3-0.
Nutting and Williamson need to slow down. They need to
I-
talk.
I just had a
Stop.
flashback. Pittsburgh Nationals, Stoklovsova, Brazova, Tarzian match with Carrie Flynn.
That was a match.
But that was really for the first time I saw the overhead that Vicky delivered, that roller into that deuce corner
Great
that you
get.
just held onto, waited, the ball dropped, and you just hit this sneaky little shot that if Tarzian didn't play the ball out of that corner, it was tough to handle. And then if she let it go in, and it was like the shot that really changed that match. Am I right about that, Vicky?
For
Well, I
me,
just remember it was the shot that you controlled the
Uh-oh.
net with.
Did it go over? No.
And that was a 10-8 third
Yes,
set.
yes.
Played it out.
Elliot
Phenomenal
Rodenzo.
final.
4-0.
sometimes when you play matches like this, sometimes I don't want to use the wrong word, but
There are no
I
wrong
forget
words.
everything after the match. I don't know what happened, but I do remember one thing. It was 8-7. No, it was
8-6.
8-all, and Carrie was serving, and she faulted 3 times. That's what I remember from that match. I don't remember
That's a
anything else.
vivid memory.
I hope you're not listening, Carrie.
Oh,
We
that's-
love
I
Carrie
felt
Flynn.
badly. I did feel badly for
No,
all the
Flynn
work.
and
Funny 'cause she
Tarzan,
usually doesn't
what a
get
run at
nervous.
Nationals, unexpected, took out a couple of the top teams, and people were anticipating possibly a lopsided women's final, but they battled every single
one of the
point.
best
It was
finals.
incredible.
They played very precise.
I
Very
remember Sue
precise,
Tarzan
yes.
hit you
Elliot Rodenzo.
5,974 soft
Tie-break.
overheads down the middle of the court to Anna's backhand.
Right, we're in an interesting situation here. Williamson and Nutting played a really good point. They had lost 4 straight.
1-4.
They played a slower pace, got themselves back into this tiebreaker.
Elliot Rodenzo. 5-1.
Jacqueline's got the awesome two-handed backhand, but she's got to recognize the situation down 1-4,
Right.
about to be eliminated,
Right.
and you've got to aim higher on your drive. You just can't hit that ball that flat, that hard right
I
there.
saw that follow through was so short. He was a little nervous. That was better.
Nice.
Nice. That's a great shot.
Nice.
Really tough.
Macy and
Elliot Rodenzo. Lead
Elliot and
tiebreak.
Rodezno, it seems like they
6-1.
closed in the net a little bit once these guys started driving. So they are
They
reading the
recognized
drives
it.
very well now.
Nice volley.
And they have,
Oh. That's it.
yeah.
It's a nice win.
Match. Elliot Rodenzo. 6-2.
So, Lucy, you want to wrap
7-6.
this up?
I
Ladies, nice
feel
match.
like, Rondenzo and Elliott really just played their game and played solid. And I don't know, just too many mistakes, too quick a point from Nutting and Williamson. I think they really need to just slow down, maybe do some different looks at the net. I know they stayed back at the end of that second set, which I think was smart. But they just needed to give them some other looks. And I don't think they challenged them enough in that. And then you've got a team that's so solid at the net. I think you're right. They closed in very well whenever Williamson and Nutting were driving, and they just took it away from them. It's
So,
good
Lisa,
match for Elliot.
Lisa and Vicky,
Mendoza.
I want to thank you guys, and we look forward to some future matches together. We're going to take a break here from Media Live, and we'll be back with men's round of 16 action coming up.
All right.
Thank you for having me. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Welcome to the APTA Nationals here at the Country Club of Darien on the APTA Network, brought to you by eNet Live. I'm Brad Easterbrook, alongside Matt Garavaglia, bringing you the men's round of 32 action, already in progress. The match is at deuce. Now it's add out. You can hear our umpire, Laura Hissey, announcing the score there. So, Matt, why don't you announce the players on the court? Give us a little identification so we know who we got there.
So on the person who just hit the forehand is Nathan Lefevre. Nathan is a teaching professional out of the Bronxfield Field Club. He is the only player I know from Tasmania.
Okay.
Coming in, his assistant, Mr. Humphreys, is his second year playing.
Yep.
Really? Got a second or third year. He's,
Yeah, first year of the kind of
first
elite,
year in the
broke
kind of
itself
the-
into the top.
Yep, and he works with Nathan over there, and he's a lefty with a lot of talent, a lot of spin. Very, for a young player, I think very patient. Returning right now, we have Anton Bobinski. He's been a bunch of years here up in the Connecticut area. Teaching pro. Very good player. He's played P Cup for years in the different regions. He was on the winning P Cup yesterday team for Region 2. Solid player, has been around. Playing over there on the other lefty is Roman Starosevich.
Stojisavljevic, yeah, it's a tongue twister. He's a Croatian player, good lefty, a lot of talent. Should be an interesting matchup here. Bobinski and Stojisavljevic, unseeded team. They're just playing together kind of for the first time. I think this is maybe their third time playing. And a lot of talent. Bobinski's got a great backhand, especially off the screen. Forehand's not quite as good, but he's hitting it more. I was watching him the other day. He's setting up for it right now. Stojisavljevic hits both forehand and backhand pretty well. A lot of spin, good action, that lefty action. And it's going to be a great match, actually. This is one of the better round of 32 matches out there. And in the 64 format now, Matt, you're going right into it right away.
15:30.
Yeah, I think one of the big keys also is going to be to see how Humphreys, as he said, he is the young player out here, and it's the pressure. We've all been there, and sometimes, Brad, you've been farther than 99% of the players out here, and see how he does. Be best beginning of the match.
30 all.
All right, 30 all. Yeah, things to look for is definitely Humphreys, the new player, his discipline and ability to just sort of handle the rounds as they continue on. And he can be a little undisciplined at times. He's got a great backhand. His forehand is okay, but it can go off the rails from time to time. And the thing to look for on the other side is, Stojisavljevic's ability to play disciplined. He tends to play almost sometimes a little, angry at times, where he just starts hitting shots. He's got all the talent in the world, but he needs to control it and put the shots out in the right time. So,
as you said, the problem in this game for a lot of these players is their talent. There's so many different talented players that are so good, and you hit some of the best shots, and they come back, and it's hard for some of these players to stay mentally focused for that long. And these guys know, though, that this is their opportunity to make the round of 16 is a big deal here at this tournament.
Yeah, I could see this match going either way. I think both teams have some similar skill sets, meaning Chris Humphreys, the two lefties, Humphreys and Stojisavljevic, have excellent spin overheads, good action on the ball, and both. And Lefevre, he can hit spin overheads too, as can Bobitsky. Bobitsky, the least of the players on the court in terms of an offensive overhead.
Oh yeah, I think the big thing too is Nathan, when he feels comfortable that he's one of the best movers on the court. He'll cut a volley off that you don't normally would teach, but he will do it. He'll hit a shot here and there that you're like, but he's so quick and fast. He gets away, not to get away with it, but he gets back in position, and he's been playing the game longer than the other one, so he's got a little bit more of that, what they need to do strategic wise.
Yeah, Nathan Lefevre is a slippery mover. He wouldn't go, he's super fast. He kind of glides around the court, moves in transition. He's not explosive quickly that you might see from like a Max Lefevre or something, but he gets around really nice and he's very smooth. Now you see, and we're going to see this all day, that Roman Stojisavljevic in the white shirt on the far side, where he's returning serve from Chris Humphreys' serve. It's that serve right up the tee with heavy spin. Stojisavljevic all the way in the other court, and you're seeing Bobitsky and Stojisavljevic switch. You're going to see that a lot today.
It's interesting. Talking to Nathan before the match, and Lefevre was talking about some of the stuff they wanted to do, and really have Humphreys hit the overheads in a lot, and kind of the lefty versus lefty, and then they find out right before the match that the lefty's been playing a lot of the ad court, and you're like, oh, so it's a little bit of a change, but he said, and Anton Bobinski will stay out there forever. That's the backhand you're talking about.
He's got a great backhand, but that's also the undisciplined approach that we were talking about before too. He's moving back and away from a ball. Even if he makes the drive, he's got no chance to follow it up with an attacking shot following. So it's an undisciplined shot. It's the kind of shots that, for Humphreys, he's already reached a very high level. He's right here. He's in the top 16. He's played on President's Cup yesterday, a ton of good experience in matches. But if he wants to crack into that top 10, top 8, that elite tier, there's that cutoff you're seeing. Terrific drive from Bobitsky, but cut off beautifully. For him to get that next level, he's going to have to get rid of those sort of what I consider a loose mental shot. He's just got to be more disciplined.
But it's a very good thing also for, if you notice these guys, Nathan hitting that forehand there. When Nathan, his forehand is rolling, it makes it, their teams are very tougher because you really don't have any outs because he's such a good lobber. Offensive style lobs, even when they're, he'll set up his partner all the time as those, very precise lobs. So then you're going to go up the middle, and then if he's hitting that forehand, it's...
Yeah, and he's cracking a couple of here. Those are good, but great position volleying from Stojisavljevic and Bobitsky. And there you go, Humphreys again on the heels. He's not afraid to take the crack. And if they can bait him into that, so we got deuce here. That'll work out well. But the safe places on the court for Stojisavljevic in terms of safest are going to go to the, Lefevre backhand and the Humphreys forehand for the most part. Just gets it over. Stojisavljevic, who just couldn't quite get the ups there, with only maybe a few inches off the ground. Needed a couple more. Stojisavljevic has not taken a swing yet at the Humphreys serve. He doesn't feel comfortable with all that spin.
Notice in my ears though about, you talk about, but not taking the swings at the serve. Most lefties, they love serving, but they don't like the lefties serving back to them. They're like, that's not fair. Now you know how we feel.
Yeah, you're right. So what I'd love to see from Humphreys is that ball was high, it was short, it was in front of him, but he wasn't set up to drive. He just took the drive at the last second. What I want to see from him, and he's, like we said, he's so talented, so good. already after a couple of years. What I want to see from him, though, is, ooh, little slip from Stojsavljevic, is him hitting the
Advantage
lob,
server.
moving himself into a
okay?
position on the court and getting set up before the hit comes, as opposed to like at the last minute go, up, I'm going to hit the backhand. And his percentage will go up so much more, and he'll be that much more dangerous.
Now, that, as you said, that comes from experience. I mean, as much as you can tell, you know, as much as you can tell somebody right away, oh, you should do this, you do this. It takes time.
Oh, of course.
But every time he steps on the court, especially in a match like this, it's only going to help his future.
Unquestionably, you're 100% right. He's actually coming at this as soon as a lot of players. You know, he's really owning his second year playing, and it's really impressive stuff. I was recognizing it earlier in the year, actually at the end of last year, how good he was going to be. I had seen him in a bunch of drill sessions and other things, and yeah, and not only is, you know, great talent, but he's a great kid, really good guy.
Deuce.
Unique background too. He's out of New Mexico, Albuquerque. Pretty cool. Speeding up the point against Stojsavljevic. Good job getting there.
You saw Stojsavljevic do a little slip, unfortunately, before. Hopefully the weather, you know, doesn't play a factor. This match is going to be so fun to watch. For, you know, be here a while to watch it, but it's going to be a lot of fun. And
oh, this game is back and forth. It's terrific. Oh,
Advantage
swing.
receiver.
moving forward. Stojsavljevic, break point here. Yeah, staying disciplined. Will not take those returns off the deck.
Deuce.
Misses the lob long. That's the one thing. If you're just going to lob it back, can't miss him, right?
it looked like he was looking at Bobinski, just trying to figure out if they're going to switch or not. And it's, you know, again, it's, you think, oh, I'm never going to miss the lob. You just take 2 seconds away. It's such a mental.
Right on there. Great shot. Oh, slippery shots there from, oh, terrific play from Liefringer. What a get from Stojsavljevic. That's amazing. Just going right at the nick. No help call needed, though. Oh.
Advantage receiver.
So far, though, he's taken about 10 of those shots, but he's missed quite a few. You know, a higher percentage that you want to see. He's not afraid to pull the trigger, though. That much I loved. Like, he is definitely
Just getting comfortable.
fearless.
I think it's, you know, as you said, right. And it's the right shots at the right time. It's just, you know, staying confidence with it, and then, you know, pulling the trigger at the right spot, and he'll just stay with it. And
That's right at the crease. Good dig. Nice. So far, I love Bobinski and Stojsavljevic. Just are definitely willing to stay out there and grind. A lot of pressure from Humphreys and Kiefer with the overheads, and yet they're still going. He took the spike there.
he
Not
baited
quite
him.
balanced.
Just kind of baited him a little bit, and it's, you know, it's so tough. It's, you finally see the shot you want, and then you just to pull the trigger. It's like, how hard should I hit it?
It's a tricky one. Great serving from Liefringer so far. Just, from Humphreys, just put each one in the box deep. None are getting returned back. It's a rare thing you see, almost no drives. That's a testament to a really, really good lefty serve.
Yes.
you see Nathan Fever looking for the cutoff volley. It's burned down the line, but he's looking for the risk reward there. If he cuts it off, he might have a chance to put it away. If they drive it behind him, they'll just bail.
The one thing you will say about these guys, all four of them so far, is, you know, their paddles don't move much. The luck and the net.
Advantage receiver.
Even on their drives, their paddles are in such control, and people are watching. How do they get that? There's not much movement with the paddle, so it's not like they're, you know, trying to deflect stuff. They're trying to, you know, put the paddle in the right spot, and then from there just control it with their grips.
So this game's going on like 10-15 minutes here. It's been back and forth. This is about the 5th, 6th break point for Stojisavljevic and Bobicki, and Humphries and Fever had a couple points. A nice push overhead when he did so well there, Matt.
He held it.
Held it, right. Held his paddle in position. You couldn't tell if he was going to push it up the middle, cut it a little, and then Stojisavljevic just at the last moment bit forward and he pushed it behind him. Beautiful. Ooh. Yeah, both teams are happy to play in transition right now. Almost like a lot of good, solid off-pace drives, a lot of balls moving through the court. You're not seeing, sometimes you'll see another team have a player stay up, like Juana Rai or Marco Giorgio, look for the cutoff volley. They're just bailing back right now. Oh, great athletic get. Another good cut from Stojisavljevic. Short. Oh, just dealing. Great job by Stojisavljevic, cutting those overheads, putting a lot of pressure, and they couldn't control their lobs, you know, at the end.
You're right. The lefty spin gets to him, it gets him, make him shorter and shorter, and as a righty in the ad side, you're not used to seeing that lefty cutting the ball at you. From the deuce side, we've all seen it, but the ad side is tougher. This break point number.
You know, it's got to be like 7. There's a lot of them out there. Great little push overheads.
This is also the type of game that if you can hold, I mean, it can take a lot of, you know, all of a sudden it gets in the head of the receiver sometimes, like how, you know, what do I need to do to break?
Yes, I think this will be, there is the break and a great game.
Stojisavljevic, Bobicki. Game is tied 1-1.
Yeah, I think that game was especially important for Bobicki and Stojisavljevic after 7 break points. You know, and you know, to even them up at 1 game all. It's still so early in the match, but that was that felt like a game at 5-4, serving to, you know, close out or trying to break back, you know, just to stay in the match. That was great early on. Ooh.
15 love.
A little bit of a loose lob there.
Yeah, the one thing that
15 all.
With you know, Nathan Lefevre is, you know, years of playing him and years of playing him. You know, he's got so much instant offense with quick speed and quick this and quick that.
15-30.
He drove that just outside of Bobicki. Bobicki looked back and he went, whoa, I did not see that coming. That was awesome.
It's just the best I've seen Nathan hit his forehand. I know it's early, but that's it. That's a
No, you're right. It's a big deal for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, when it's on, because when it's not, his offense can dry up a little in the backcourt. That's a filthy cut overhead there from Stojisavljevic. Heavy, hard swing, but the ball moves slow. Completely catches Humphries. Wow. Yeah, I would say, like, so you take Nathan Fever, you know, he's been a great player for a long time, but there's been like a quasi-ingredient that's kept him from being towards the top, and it seems to me like he does a lot of things really well, but nothing specifically great.
I know he said for years he really, really likes, playing with
Deuce.
the lefties. He played with, Estes for a
Estes for a
few
bit.
years, and you look at the losses they've had in the big tournaments. It's
Oh, that's so good.
Drew and
Advantage
Jared.
receiver?
Right.
Some Mark and
tough
Parsons
teams,
and-
of
I mean,
course,
tough
of course.
teams. So it's always tough teams. But yeah, he it is nice. He said to speaking to him at the Long Island tournament is that it's very nice. Breath of fresh air for him in a way. Just being a young father now, and on top of it having a
so
young
good.
young partner that he's like he can grind a little bit more. And I'm fine that he can run around and I don't have to move as much.
Yeah, he loves playing with the young partner, the up-and-coming player, which is terrific. And this is a good team. And really, really good stuff so far. Ooh. Ah. See, now that drive, he's trying to make something happen. He did, but you'd have to say he made it happen better for Babitsky there, right?
Yeah.
Because the drop wasn't that effective. He forced him in, but
But it
Babitsky
looked
forces the error with a pretty reasonable backhand hit that's not too difficult for him.
The big thing, and I think a lot of these guys are get back into the match mode, is they do stuff like hit a drop shot like that, and it doesn't look like Anton's trying that hard to get it, and all of a sudden he's there and it's like, oh, I'm not ready. Where getting into it and a couple times, okay, he'll just be ready on that, and then that's the difference between nice try.
Advantage
Good
server.
move,
When the Jared Palmers and the Drew Brodericks of the world they're never not ready.
though. Yeah, and
And
they're not giving you so many opportunities. They're taking them all away, basically, in every way, shape, or form.
Right.
All right, there'll be more great shots, but also a lot more gifts.
Deuce.
Yep.
And that was a gift back there from Babitsky. That's a tough shot to make. Even if he makes it, it's probably not going to threaten the Fever that much anyway, unless
No, especially
Stoisovich-
coming from a transition.
Oh,
Advantage
swing.
server.
swing. That's his shot. But the other thing about the drop shot on a day like today is, it's 45 degrees out.
Deuce.
It's not 25.
No.
So you got to be judicious with it. It's not that you can't hit it, but the guys are going to be all over it.
They said see some amazing athletes out there.
Advantage.
Robert.
It's a
It's
Receiver.
amazing athletes
Terrific
out here.
return.
These guys are great. Men or women. They're training all the time now. They're in great shape. They some of them run marathons. They run not just that. They're in the gym all the time, and it's as well as that. So the drop shots and things like that. Almost everyone, especially in the 16s.
Yeah, this is a round of 32 match.
Yeah.
This is a tough round of 32 to very good. Stoisovich been in the top 10 or around the top 10 with Sven
Game.
Bodas in the past.
The favor.
Babitsky played
Humphreys.
a couple of
They
years very
lead the
successfully
first
with
set,
Bernard Schumann.
2
Yes,
games
they
to
did.
1.
So both those players very, very good. That was a good break. And then, this is one of those games where you can look back. I think this match is a really tight one. It's just going to be a really good matchup. And Babitsky's going to have to watch it. It's going back and saying, we have a break, we have a game point, and I turned around and tried to do this perfect little dink at that. But I think that's going to be what separates the teams in this match, right? The person who does that the least. Probably not who executes it the most. The person who does it the least is going to come ahead. Ooh.
15 love.
I think Babitsky's forehand is improved. He used to be mostly just a backhand guy, and I love that little delayed serve and volley there from Fever. Great job. His hands are terrific.
30 love.
One of the things about this game has changed is you don't see the automatic serve and volley. You see the
40 love.
half back, not all the way in. see what happens. They're not afraid to play from the backcourt either. So it's a lot of fun to watch different nuances.
Yeah, I think every team needs to have about 4 or 5
45.
different serve strategies and plays that they need to do. And it's actually a great lesson for club players, too. You know, any club player out there should also have 3 to 4 strategies. Wow,
Game.
3 missed
the
forehands
Fever
there from
Humphreys, They lead
Bobitsky.
3-1 in the first set.
And that was a bit of a gift. But, hey, I always loved it when I got
I
them.
can take them.
Yeah, exactly. Get right back
That's
into.
15
So
left.
far, what we're seeing in the match really is who's trying to make the most shots, but it's been more about who's missing
Yeah.
them. And at a certain point in time, you can keep going for
15
your
all.
shots. You should hit the ones you want to, but at a certain point in time, you have to dial it back to that level that's going to be optimal. You know, because you can go through a match,
the
an
first two-
entire match, and see less missed balls by Drew Broderick. Now, Drew Broderick's a special case, right? He doesn't miss, you know, balls, period. And he's playing mostly to not lose points, not to win them, whereas all these players are trying to whin all the points.
If you notice, the
15,
first 2
30,
games were
15.
they played that way.
15-30,
And then
excuse
it
me.
was, you know, since that serve, Bobinski missed like 2 serves, and
15-40.
you know it's been a quick since.
Yep. That was a great return there. A little off pace from Fever. Oof.
30-40.
Oh, that's a great cut. That's a lot of good action there from Stojisavljevic. Oh, he tried to body him, and good, quick,
Deuce.
Matrix-like move
Very-
there, Matt.
Yep. I'm not gonna say that would have hit me in the chest because I'm
You
that
would've been
short.
out of the way.
It went over my head. I'm that short, but no, it would. I wouldn't have gotten out of the way.
I tell you, that was one of those shots where, you know, it's a decent play every now and then to try to body your opponent, to frame them up. But Stojisavljevic saw the possibility.
You got out of the way. You got to give him all the credit. Oh.
Advantage server.
But that was,
here it is.
no, it was just 15-40.
It was just 15-40, and it's three misses. Tries to body him, tries to spike a ball where he's off balance, and he hits a one-handed wide roller.
Deuce.
That's long.
Advantage receiver.
That's a
I
great
mean, I know
rip.
they're
I think
just out there, but it looks like
Game.
it's got a
Humphreys,
little bit of
Lefevre,
moisture
they lead
going
4 games
on,
to 1,
and the ball
first set.
itself is. You know, I know they're changing balls every 7 games.
Yep.
So
All right, Uline. Uline is the leading distributor of shipping, industrial, and packaging materials to businesses throughout North America. They ship over 2.5 million boxes every day, but they are so much more than a box company. More than 32,000 quality products are always in stock and ready to ship. Outstanding customer service means they're here when you need them 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Uline, the best selection, products, and people for an unforgettable customer experience. Oh, just a terrific
15 left.
read. And that stretch forehand volley from, Nathan Lefevre is tremendous. That is not easy to do. That is a great, great look.
yeah, no, I mean, if I was coaching or
Oh, see that?
that's that.
He missed it, but
Yeah.
that drop.
Was good.
I think
That's
he's
like
going to have
getting away with
to
murder.
shelve that one,
Wow.
for the
30
rest of the
left.
match. But he did make things speed up, and he did win the points. So
If I was Anton and Babinski and Savasovich, I would definitely be taking this game and saying, all right, every point's got to be, just do like 20 hits, 20 lobs per drive, even if you got a great drive, just to get the momentum slowed down.
Right.
'Cause Nathan, yep,
he missed that long.
30-15.
just to try to change it up. I mean, sometimes we were talking about in the ladies' match earlier about they sometimes speed it up here or there just because great hands.
Great hands, and then Stojsavljevic didn't feel he had the better of it. Was going lob volley, but he missed it. Like that wind-up from Humphries. It's pretty cool. He kind of cocks his hand up and back, and then he just goes. And smart play. And I was about to say this, Matt, before. If you're driving the ball against a player like Nathan Lefevre, you want to do the drives at him 50% of the time.
Yes.
And, you know, because he's moving 50% or 60 or 70% of the time. So when you go at him, he might leave that spot, or you might find his hip because he'll move into the ball the wrong way.
First set.
All right, 5-1. They're just moving too fast for Bobitsky and Stojsavljevic. They're going to have to find the right level here against these guys. Oh, good backhand.
15 left.
I mean, in Lefevre and Humphries, they need to make sure that they don't,
15 out.
Give it back.
Give it back.
Yeah.
That's the one thing. When you have the momentum like this, and you won't want to sit there and you want to keep playing your game and everything like that.
But, did you see that split there from Humphries? It's tough on our screen angle there, but he was literally fully laid out almost. That actually, I think I got a groin pull up here in the booth.
Me.
Yes. That's great spin over. Nice flick. You see how Lefevre flattens that paddle down, gets it underneath the ball, and flicks it up. Ball is only maybe 2 inches off the ground. Incredible.
40-15.
Right on the line.
$40-30.
30. Now, nobody's at the net, and he's taking a big hit there. Smart move to stay back from Humphries there. Oh, good blitz.
Deuce.
But all these fast plays. See, the points are... We had that one really long game. The one game, actually, that Stojsavljevic and Bobitsky won. And everything else from that, I think all the other games combined haven't added up time-wise to that one single service game, and that's just
first set.
Gift of the first set there.
6 games to 1. Lefevre, Humphries.
And Stojsavljevic
new balls, gentlemen.
And Bobitsky are going to have to try and take a good look here at what they're doing and switch it around and change it up. I mean, at this moment in time,
it's a little
what would you say? All right, so BTIG, another one of our sponsors. BTIG is a global financial services firm specializing in institutional trading, investment banking, research, and related brokerage services. With an extensive global footprint and more than 600 employees, BTIG operates out of 18 cities throughout the U.S., Europe, Asia, and Australia. BTIG offers execution expertise and insights for equities, equity derivatives, ETFs, fixed income, currency, and commodities. The firm's core capabilities include global execution portfolio, electronic and outsourced trading, transition management, investment banking, prime brokerage, capital introduction, corporate access, research, strategy, commission, management, and more. BTIG. That's a lot. BTIG covers a lot of ground.
So we're thinking about that first set a little bit there, Brad, and we both said the same thing. Yeah, when they finally broke to make it 1-1. We're like, it's important for those guys. You don't want to lose that game, not to be down 2-0, but have an 8 break points. And then since that, they've had 3 points for another game, and I think they were just.
Well, yeah, twice on Bobitsky's serve, he was up 40-15 or had the game point, and each time it ended up with fault, miss volley, miss ball, but every point was less than 5 seconds. Mm-hmm. If you're not winning these fast points and it doesn't look like that's the way you're going to win it, you got to change it. I'm not saying Bobitsky and Stojisavljevic can't hit the ball, but they got to slow this pace down and look for the right ball. And then when they're at the net here, find the spots where they want to bait Humphries and, you know, Lefevre into hitting their drives. You know, and you got to be going in to Lefevre's backhand side. I mean, I'd smash it into his side screen, you know, as long as it's getting there, because he's crushing forehands right now. They're not placing their overheads in a place that's making it difficult for him. And as a consequence, that's the first fault from Humphries. So this would be a good start if they can get this game, get it off into the right foot.
Game, Stojisavljevic.
I think he surprised them a little bit
they
with that
lead
slap
1 game
forehand.
to love in the second set. First
that
set
was
was
the
won
game
by
right
Lefevre
there,
and
though, that I
Humphries.
was watching. That Humphries said, you know, that looked like they missed an overhead early because trying to spin it too much, and then that volley just kind of like, as you said, it looked like a surprise, but it was still one of those when you're just kind of like, okay, we just won, you know, we won the last 5 games in 8 minutes.
Yep.
You know, they gotta, you know, you gotta stick down.
Yeah, well, the surefire way to have a tee, we all know that was a 6-1 set, and that's a great hit to get at the top of the net too. They won a 6-1 set, Humphries, Lefevre, and it was a lot of points. They played really well, but they also got a lot of errors from Stojisavljevic and Bobitsky, and even games where they were up in game points and they just threw in the wrong shots at the wrong time. You know, and the surest way to help, you know, Bobitsky and Stojisavljevic get back into this is going to be just to start making a few mistakes, right? Because all it takes to flip the script and to win this next set for Bobitsky and Stojisavljevic, and the same score, is for them to tighten their game up, not hit a drive while he's fading back and away from the ball while Humphries is right on top of the net, just like that one, and tighten up and get rid of their errors. And then if they just get 1 or 2, or if, let's say, you know, Nathan's forehands, he misses a couple because he was really hitting it well in the first set, you know, but that doesn't mean he's going to keep hitting every single one. He's bound to miss a couple, right? If they tighten up their errors, get an error or 2 out of them, they'll right back in it. Oh, that was a go, and he was not ready to go.
No.
I think he thought, you know, Lefevre was heading back to the ad side. Oh, gosh, that was a big backhand. Although why he wouldn't just push that serve down the middle, actually, I don't understand. You got to be as close to the center hash mark as you can. Humphries is getting 80%. Well, it might be tough for the lefty, but I'd stand near the center hash mark and hit just a straight serve down the middle, medium pace.
And he said, I know, you know, Roman for a long time watching his serve. It's not often some of these guys, they get, you know, when they're used to having their serve not get hit, and somebody keeps hitting it, they want to.
Right, so what you're probably alluding to is he's not used to having to make any adjustments. He just keeps hitting it, but, you know, we all know if you want to be an elite player, you have to become, you know, a player that thinks that way. Because right now, Stojisavljevic's spin serve, which is great to the ad court, is jumping right into Chris Humphries' best shot, which is the high backhand, right? So you can't keep hitting that serve, even if it's your better serve. It's not working that well against the guy. You got to make the adjustment. And that's what, like, you know, let's see, even that overhead, hitting it down right in there.
And you can see early in the match that was the two-hander that he just missed a few times, and that was in that one, you know, first 2 games, and it looks like he's got it, you know, going again. So you're right.
That's the spot right there that they got to just keep hammering away. They got to work the middle, soft and deep. Work the middle, soft and deep. Pinpoint those overheads.
Second set.
Good hold. Yeah, they got to keep it off and have Humphries play the ball, put it off Humphries' left hip, so it's not too close to the Lefevre forehand, And if Humphreys has to hit a ball with his backhand, he's got to move around it.
Love 15.
Oh, I mean, you can see the other thing about, this sport is the momentum
Love
sport.
30.
Oh, looked like he barely caught the edge of it. Just a miss hit there, missed time.
It's a momentum sport, and it's also a confidence sport where you don't want to give your opponents free confidence, and it's not, and it's, Patty was talking a lot earlier about front runners and how, when you play in front, and sometimes people get too aggressive, or it's a tough, situation, but you don't want to all of a sudden allow your opponents to, you don't want to give them free points, but you also don't want to allow them to just, get confidence in themselves by, missing a few. And it looked like Bobinski starting to play, hitting the ball a little better.
Well, they're making a few less errors right now, and they're playing a little more disciplined. And it may be that the other team will stop playing as disciplined,
40.
right? Give them a few. That was a ball that was from the service line. He just took a rip.
I mean,
now it's hard
we
for
were
us
just
to
talking
tell
about
here.
the first set. Next thing you know, it's break point here to go up 3-0.
Yep. Yeah, this is it. They're gonna play this, slow it down, which is crucial for them. I love that lob.
Yes.
He held it. Looked for a moment like he was going to drive, and he went up with it. That's perfect.
Game. Stoye Savlovich.
Sure, what happened with
They
with
lead
Humphreys,
3
with
games to
Humphreys
love.
there.
Second set.
Looked a little flat-footed, and I think he easily could have had it with his
Humphreys
athleticism.
won the first set.
Great start to the second set. They've dried up a couple of their errors, and you'd have to say, Humphreys and Fever have definitely started making a few more, right?
First game. The first game, Humphreys missed 2 overheads. He said his first fault, unfortunately for him.
Love 15.
And the ball looks like it just skidded off Bobinski's paddle there, so it might.
Love 30.
Yeah, I was about to say that before. It looks like you can watch it from this angle here. There's stuff coming off the ball. Like there is some moisture out there. It doesn't look like it's raining, but it definitely is something coming off the ball as they're hitting.
I mean, it's especially for the players that the newer players to the game. I've noticed over the years when you get a new ball when it's a little wet, that ball actually
great
15,
shot there from
30.
Stoye Savlovich.
But the ball itself, with the more flocking on, sometimes will skid off your paddle than with the less flocking when it's wet. So
that's a great serve there from Bobinski. Yeah, got to be ready. That ball's going to spin right to him from Stoye Savlovich. Stoye Savlovich starting to do some damage with the overhead spins. Good move there from Humphreys. Reads that spin. But that's the drive you want him to take when he's moving to the middle away from his side. If you go hard into his side screen or bounce it down to the outside of the court, you got to make him hit the ball from the center with his backhand and then do exactly what Stoye Savlovich is doing, which is closing in. Then you're going to get opportunities to be able to hit behind him. That's good because it has the spin, but that's the overhead that's a little more dangerous, and a perfect point.
30-all.
But as he said, Stojakovic, the big thing about, he hit those backhands and volleys, he was closing the net. He was getting right on top of that net. And I think that's something that, the average player, sometimes sit there and go, I can volley from off. But if you know they're driving, get up there.
Right. No, I love the way Stoye Savlovich played that last point. Wasn't a bad roller opportunity from Bobitsky, just missed it. Short enough. You got to place that ball off. Chris Humphries left hip. There's your ball. That's the spot. There it is again. That's the spot you want.
But this is this is the type of point that could help Nathan and Chris and Humphries and Lefebvre, because they were losing all the points this set. Just like
oh, that's a great overhead.
Deuce.
Had him down on the ground, but he can't dig it. You're right. No, but this is a good game from Stojsavljevic and Bobitsky anyway. Oh, I still don't understand why he's not serving
Receiver.
it up the tee. To make it Humphrey. You hit that ball wide to his backhand. You're asking. Set up the tee. Oh, great hands.
Oh, great ball.
Oh, incredible stuff.
But that was the ball earlier that, Bobinski tried to drive. This time he just lobbed it up, got them back in the point.
Nice. That's going to be a tough dig. Nice. You hear them. That's going to work well. Nice. Oh.
Up.
Game.
Some point.
Lefebvre, Humphries.
Much better
They are
game
down
there
3 games
from
to 1.
Humphries and
Second set.
Lefebvre. And I didn't think it was a bad game from Bobitsky and Stojsavljevic in turn. They just missed a shot or two. He missed a roller one time, but right idea. This is the right kind of tempo of play.
Yep. And unfortunately for those guys, the ball was, spun off his paddle the first 2 serves, and then took his time after that. So.
That's it. That'll work. And there it goes. You could bang it in there. That's good. Keep working that middle. Keep working it right there. Keep working it, but even if he has to take that one, it's not as bad as the alternatives.
Nope.
Oh.
15 love.
Right idea, and he makes an error right there at the end.
And sometimes it's the softer, easier shots we just literally take for granted.
Yep. I mean, he just missed it. I love the way he played the point, the idea behind it. We've all been there. There's plenty of easy overheads.
I think I missed a couple to you last week in our match. Sorry about that.
One of them was so easy. I remember you tried to hit one from behind your partner's head, fading away, trying to hit a cut winner.
I might have been aiming for my partner.
We actually thought that, my partner and I were like, I think he's trying to hit him. Oh, that's a great push towards the corner.
30, 15.
Great job. Both shots right in towards the crease. Makes Stojsavljevic have to choose, and couldn't come up with it that time. I like that. See, I don't like that.
40,
He's still
15.
back in the green. Humphries is already right on top of the net. It's not his best shot. I don't know. How do you feel about that one, Matt?
I think exactly. It was off balance.
Game. Lefebvre, Humphries.
His backhand is
They are
so
trailing 3
solid.
games
And nothing
to 2.
against saying bad about
Second
his
set.
forehand, but if he's not, balanced, he's got to just throw it back up.
Babitsky, they're leading 3 games to 2.
Fusion Sports. Fusion Sports is your source of high-end customer apparel. Fusion offers pro shop management, tournament favors, corporate branded gear, and youth sports. Fusion is the official supplier and apparel of the exclusive provider of the tournament favors to the APTA in the 2020 Nationals.
Yeah, Fusion Sports, a lot of good wear. All the a lot of the players out there have it. Some great favors. Yeah, so that's exactly what we don't need. Or if you're Bobitsky and Stoyasavljevic, you take a 3-love lead, and you got a game. You're right in the balance of it, and then it's just 2 forehands in a row. You got to play. If I were Bobitsky, I would play the shot. That is my best shot every time right now, because you just can't afford those misses. And let's say he made both of those forehands. Neither one of them was like a killer, or Humphreys was all over the net on both of them.
Yeah, as you said, risk reward is a big deal. The risk reward is a big deal, and for some of these guys, they can hit both forehands and backhands. You can't tell me which is better. But for the ones that they're the ones that hit both of them. But make sure that if you really want to line up your shot, move your feet, take the window. Yep.
Oh wow, that's just great. Great volleys, great position volleys. Fever loves moving forward. See that? If Humphreys gets another one of those really for the game, you kind of know you're doing it wrong. Mm-hmm. If he gets another backhand moving forward and in to his right, you're not doing the right thing or being disciplined enough. He should get 2 of those a match at most. And if you're doing it, then you got to make sure when you're doing it, you're right on top of the net. Get ready to volley that next ball.
15 love.
See, because if you make him play long enough, maybe you'll get that. Of all the options, a talented guy that Chris Humphreys can be, if you're the other team, if you're Bobitsky and Stoyasavljevic, that's the one shot you want him to try and hit.
Yes.
Ah, great hands. That's good, tough stuff. Oh. That's just tough. Great cut.
Love.
See what's the most amazing part? You said those great hands is their racket head didn't move, and I think that's one of the biggest things. A lot of the players is when people are coming at them, people are always thinking that they need to do so much with their volleys, and it's just get your racket in the correct spot, hold it right.
So smooth.
But those backhands, he's going to make most of them and put way more pressure on them than if he's moving around and hitting that forehand.
Oh, I tell you, Nathan Fever's got one of the better forehand volleys in the game. I mean, he hits a lot of them, and he just sticks it out. A lot of people don't have that facility to move the paddle from one side to the other as well as he does. It's really impressive. Look at that.
30,
but again,
15.
Lefevre knew where he was hitting before the ball was even getting hit. He was on there hitting a forehand volley. He was swinging before Bobitsky even made contact. He's got to hit the ball behind Lefevre or at him, not away from him. And it's just getting used to these thought process. And this is where I think, we've talked about it before, with Jerry or with Mark. We do the live streams, Matt, who's the captain on the team? Is there a captain on the team? Who's going to say these things? Does, it looks to me like Borish and Stoyasavljevic, Bobitsky and Stoyasavljevic are just playing together, and no one's, saying anything to the other guy and saying, hey, we need to do this, or hey, we need to do that. What do you think?
I think, truly, I think one of the biggest things in finding the right partnerships too is not the talent you were playing with, but it's also, and there's trust issues of trusting
30,
your
30.
partner and thinking, having a strategy, not, I think we should play the deuce, so I should play the ad. And you're right, especially in the first set, they didn't talk after they started, losing a few points in games. They just kind of just went their own way and tried to.
Yeah, it went from 1-all to 6-1 in, like we said, in 10 minutes. And it might be, it was about 10 minutes.
Yeah, and as I said, it wasn't that.
That's why.
It was out. Advantage server.
All right, this is big. They can keep that lead up and find their way to the finish line. We all know that's the hardest thing in the world to do.
Great
serve. Great
Game.
serve. He could have just popped that up. I think that would have been the play.
They lead.
They've been working him with some pretty good dunks. Nicely measured over Stojisavljevic. Yeah, you can see when he's hitting that ball, all that stuff coming off the ball from that perfect angle there when Fever's serving.
30 love.
But even though that was okay, you should never miss a lot, but he lined up the backhand, he had them come closer to the net, he just happened to.
Oh, great spot.
30-15.
Humphries saw it though, he was moving over, just couldn't quite come up with the goods. Great drive, early and quick down the line. Ooh, slippery.
I mean, the hardest part about this sport is, in your head, you're hoping your partner might hit certain shots and then he doesn't, and it's learning how to, okay, he hit that shot and okay, I wouldn't have done that, but I can't think about that. I got to just keep playing my shots then.
Oh, that's so well done.
40-15.
I mean, but I love how, Stojisavljevic and Obitsky went about that. Look, they had to hit 15 great cut overheads to win that point. Yes. And they may miss one of those. So they were hanging around. I like the way they played it. They got to get their lobs up a little more, but not that easy when they're dealing with all that spin. Tremendous. Oh, perfect miss it.
Game, Lefevre Humphries.
Great hold. We got musical producers out here. John's in now. Hey, John, welcome back to the booth. Kelly's out. It's like a tag team. Wonder if we could do that, Matt. Like tag you're in, tag you're out. Oh, it's like hockey lines. They got 5-minute shifts.
Oh, just because they wouldn't
line one
over there.
I want to know who's line one. Is that John? Is definitely line one. Okay. Oh wow.
Great get.
Yeah, great hands. That's good height. Love it. We've seen that be less and less of a factor. We were talking about that the other day. The high lob, Matt. What do you think about that?
I think one of the.
There's a split almost. Good wheels. That's
15 love.
Tough drop off the net.
I think, with these guys, they can cut balls so much on anything now. And
30 love.
They can cut balls on so many different shots that the height doesn't matter as much. Sometimes they're thinking about pushing them back, looking for more offense. Not as not like when we were taught to.
Right. So you think they're not hitting the high lobs as much because, well, I know for a fact that some guys like Drew Broderick think hitting a low quick lob is a much better chance because the guy doesn't have a chance to set up. And he thinks he can get a guy into hitting a ball down in a quicker way. And there's some truth to that, but there's also still time and place for a good high deep lob. You hit a good high deep lob, you can blitz behind it. You can move different places.
I do think, I think with the, with the balls nowadays that are just a little, a little livelier, they compared to what they used to be, and then the little livelier balls, you can all go and ask about global warming and stuff, but it is definitely it's just a little warmer than it used to be out here. I mean, it's 45 degrees in the Nationals, and so the ball's gonna be moving, and it does make a difference of how you can hit and how you can play.
But what I loved about that drive is he went at Lefevre, and Lefevre was moving,
yes.
so he's able to get it behind him, and that is the
Great
play.
play.
Humphreys slides again.
Love.
My
15.
gosh, he's flexible. He's got a little Djokovic in him, sliding around on a gritty court. Some good leg strength.
I mean, the one thing is when Nathan's moving forward is sometimes Roman will back up, but Babinski just stays up there, and you gotta, if Nathan can figure that out, he can realize that if he's gonna blitz or he's gonna do something, he's got to stay away from Babinski and go.
And he went down the line again there. See that? Great play. He's getting wise.
They're listening to you, Brad.
You think he's got the earpiece listening to the comments?
He's listening to the conversation.
Those two really smart plays. Yeah, it goes deep and at the body. And that's the great thing on those ones that bounce up close. You can hit them on the rise, extra spin. Yeah, get the energy from the ball bouncing up combined with your own swing. The double juice.
It was always fun when we were playing back in the days, and you'd hit a short lob to Mr. Uline.
Yeah.
He did all this package, but yeah. He
Yep,
hit
Uline.
He hit a short lob to him. He let it bounce, and sometimes you would just say, please don't, and just give him the point.
I concede. You throw in the white towel, you say, oh.
Advantage receiver.
All right, here's set point here. So set point for Stojsavljevic and Bobicki. Oh, and there it is.
Second set. Stojsavljevic, Babitsky win 6-3. Second set.
All right, so
Lefevre
terrific.
And Humphreys won the first set.
Terrific win there for
6-1.
Stojsavljevic and Bobicki. We're going to take a break, and we'll be back right after these messages here on the APTA Network, presented by eNet Live. Welcome back to the Men's National Championships. We are here in the round of 32 where the team of Stojisavljevic and Bobicki just took the second set 6-3 against the seeded team of Humphries and Lefevre. And Matt, what do you think of that set? So it's all even now.
It almost like a reverse 180 replay. I mean, it definitely as I said, it looks a little, I'm looking at the court in between the sets, looks a little wet out there, so it's definitely making it, a little bit harder for these guys to hit. But the team that wanted to play the most discipline, that was the team that won the set. So I think, coming out, it's going to be interesting. It's, now you're going to talk about the youth, the use of Humphries. How is that going to play in? And
are you talking more about the experience he has, like in a third set grind, or?
Yeah, not the youth as in, the other one's tired. Not that, but he's,
Well, the young guys shouldn't be tired, right?
And then 2 matches in the day.
And I don't
if you're
think he's tired at all.
If you're 2 matches in the day tired, well, not like the days when 4 or 5 matches on a Saturday and you got to the quarterfinals and it was, your 5th match of the day sometimes. So no, not, but sometimes it is. Mentally you're.
Well, I think it's the mental fitness that we're talking about here, in general. So here we go. Stojisavljevic to start us off. Good serve. Still going into the strength of Humphries, but misses that one. I like this. They're starting out right away with a little Australian. Give him a look right off the bat and a couple of easy misses quickly. Yeah, we just saw a shifting in the air. I mean, it was funny. They got down 3-0, Humphries and Lefevre, in that last set. And then it was pretty even after that. Ooh, service called out.
Correct call.
Okay, and then confirmed by umpire Laurie Izzy after a little bit of hesitation. So 30-15 for Bobicki and Stojisavljevic are up 30-15.
That's a good return. And he finally didn't go back at Bobinski, because I think he's got phenomenal hands, just standing up there and just, not just.
Oh. Oof. Oh, beautifully done. A lot of cat and mouse there. Pretty. Surprised not to see somebody. Usually you hit that low one and then you take a quick foray to the net to see what you can cut off, but play out that way. See here, this is going to be the key. If they could keep that up and keep going. You see Humphries move over there like that, and then they find, if they can consistently find in the backcourt the Lefevre backhand and the Humphries forehand, that'll bode well in the long run for Bobicki and Stojisavljevic.
You can also see in Bobicki and Stojisavljevic that their confidence in their shots. Like when they started losing, it was super fast and super quick, and it wasn't like as I said, it wasn't like Nathan and Lefevre and Humphries were sitting there and just wow on them. They just didn't play well, and sometimes you just tighten it up a little bit, and then
that's all it is. I think this match is just going to come. It's going to be less about the shots made than the choices made and the shots missed. It's going to be who misses less and who makes the right choices. Because they're all talented. They all have skills. They all can rip the ball in various places on the court. Yeah, you see Stojisavljevic has a great spin overhead. The only guy really without a spin overhead is Bobicki, but he doesn't need it. He can just keep pushing it to that spot, be disciplined, don't worry about it, bait them into the wrong position shot. I'd love those overheads he's hitting right now because that's the pace he wants.
Yeah,
just push it right there, right to Humphries, left hip, go one after another.
But that's the ball right there. I know, that Stojisavljevic, he's got to be careful though.
Yeah, Stojisavljevic's got to be careful, but at least those balls aren't getting hit downward. Like that's worse, right? Those balls are getting hit more upwards, and that's a little less danger.
Interesting. So, you know,
That's
the
great.
Fever's old partner, and I thought had still one of the best overheads
You're talking about Scott Estes.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, Scott Estes had a terrific sort of lefty. He could let it drop. He could cut it. He could take it from high and take pace off of it.
But he just would make that second post.
Yep.
You'd just be hitting, you know, after day after day after second post. It would never give you
That is
an
great
opportunity
playing.
to drive.
See, Matty, I love that point from Bobitsky and Stoyasovich. Bobitsky just pushed all his overheads flat to the right spot. And the key words there are not the flat, not anything. He hit him to the right spot at the right pace so they could be in position. And they didn't give any good looks to Humphreys and Lefevre. And the looks, and they still drove Humphreys and Lefevre about 10 balls. But they were able to make each volley, be solid, and eventually they just, you know, missed a lob.
And there's that wet ball that slid right off.
That's out.
That's
Advantage
two in a
to
row.
Lefevre?
It's just sliding off his paddle.
Oh, ball
Deuce.
a little lower. Needs to hit up on it just a hair more, but he's moving forward into the court. And there's some shots that you just don't see a lot of out here yet. Now, some of it's just because of the style, but like Humphreys, he could really rip it, and he's great at letting the ball go to the screen and then lifting it back up.
Advantage server.
But you never see him step in and hit a block lob, or do that kind of move that sort of holds them in position.
Yep. I saw Anton Babinski started to do that a little bit more. He started to step up a little bit more.
Oh,
Deuce.
sneaky.
But he started to step up and play closer to baseline, a la Steve DeRose, who is the king of taking away time.
Well, let's just say Steve DeRose doesn't play at the baseline. He plays inside the
The
baseline. You stand inside the baseline. See, I love that stuff. He's great letting it go off the screen, letting his paddle drop, going up. I'd love to see that ball be block lobbed up the line quickly.
Yes.
And steal some of the time and allow them to move quickly and force them up and back a little more. So it's just these ingredients. Look, Humphreys is great. That these small ingredients that are going to make a difference down the road.
Advantage
And to continue
server.
as a set, there's absolutely no reason he's not going to be, that he won't be an elite player in the game.
Do you think part of that has to do is, not the moment a little bit, but also having a lefty hitting it to you where you're, again, it's funny because the lefties have such an advantage with certain spins and stuff, but at the same time, you ask a lefty, they say they hate playing lefties more than righties do.
Right. And I think it could be, but I just think it's more of an experience thing. I don't see there's any reason why he wouldn't be able to do it there, and he'll just gain it. I mean, like we talked about, he's only been playing a couple of years, and he's already, very, very, very good.
Great kid.
See, that's great. And there it is. If they just keep putting it there time and time again. Oh, that time too close to Lefevre, who was waiting for it. A great transition back. That's terrific play. No,
Deuce.
but they had the right idea. Just Stoyasovich didn't place his overhead well enough. It got too close. And Lefevre moved over and snuck it. Good sniper. Fun action, Matty.
Yeah, I will say this much. First two sets were, a lot of talent with a lot of, it's like, thank you, here you go. And this set is so far, it's been.
Well, what I love is I've seen now
Advantage
from Stoyasovich
receiver.
and Bobitsky, they have a little bit more of at least a plan.
Yep.
There's a little bit of bad luck. You know, and whereas in the first set they were just banging balls. You know, now they're starting to understand where they need to go on the court. I haven't seen much change, actually, to be honest, on the Humphreys side and the Humphreys and Lefevre side. Not much has changed. You know, they're just playing.
Yeah.
I can't determine like what specifically their strategy is, where they want to hit the ball on the court yet. That was a good play. Humphreys just couldn't quite get up in time, and that's happened 4
server.
or 5 times. And I gotta say, I'm gonna put that one on Nathan Lefevre. You know, Humphreys is moving up the side wire, way out of position to take an early backhand. Lefevre's stepping in. You know, he's got to cover that ball through the middle.
No, they had the point before. Unfortunately, they played it just right. And,
just
Humphreys
missed.
hit the top of the net on a high volley. And
yeah, it was good play.
Then you feel, sometimes you feel like, well, I got to rush to the next one. I got to get it right away.
You know, you're right. But the credit on that, I'm actually going to give to Stojicevic, who hit a great lob volley to get it out of the way of Nathan Lefevre, who was right on top of the net. And then, you know, Humphreys came in to take out of the air, which isn't necessarily a bad play, but he's in much worse position than Lefevre is. And
First game of the
great,
third set,
great
won by
fight for the hold from
Stojicevic.
Stojicevic.
Bobitsky, they lead 1 game to
And
love
Bobitsky.
in the third set.
Great fight for that hold.
Well, I know, Brad, there's another match going on the other court over here. And
yes. You got a
Compton
score over there?
Yeah. I don't think we have it. Not looking for it. We'll look for it. I'm going to take the easy one. I'm going to take in the Compton-Kaler match.
Compton-Kaler against Mushunga and Chidzikwe.
Yes.
Yeah, the Boston team. They're, you know, we're basically right on the. They're good.
They're
Yeah,
fast.
very good.
Fastest. But the rest of the 32s have finished already. So, you know, it's a nice little. You know, we had a weather alert, so they got the 32s finished up, and now, so we're. So these are the last
love.
2 matches of the day. You get to watch, and the first day of the Friday matches, and none of all the seeds so far have come through. They're coming through. There's been a couple great matches, I've been told.
Ooh, topspin flipper lob. Oh, great dig. Oh. Should have gone right back at him, I think. Nice job. So smart. Just push it there. That's
Great
it. But
volley.
even if he's hitting the drive, that's the one you want. Where he's not moving forward and to his right. He's actually moving inside and to his left. It's a harder shot for him to get as much juice on, and it's easier to defend for the net team.
That's the big thing. Easier to defend.
Yep. This is turning into a good battle. That's it. Great reads now from Stojicevic, finding the creases, seeing where they're moving. He pushes that one deep, using different heights to mix it up, and beautifully done. That's perfect. They gave them
15-0.
not a single decent look to hit, and then covered the net, and that is exactly what you want. Yeah, we're seeing now, the offense start to dry up a little from Humphreys and Lefevre just because they're just not getting any.
Right.
And you can't try to force it. This is where Humphreys and Lefevre have to be really careful and just be super disciplined. You can't try to force it or make errors or try to make something appear out of nothing.
No, that's
have
the
to
thing.
just
You
play.
can't get frustrated about it. You just have to.
Ooh. That's a great cutter. Oh!
Watch the spin on this thing.
Oh, Kenny, he dig it. Oh!
I stayed in.
That's incredible stuff. We've got a replay on that. Let's see.
Oh.
But see,
15-30.
Matt, I think that's another what we were talking about. Can he hit it? Yes. Is he set up to hit it? I don't think so. He's not on our screen there, so it's hard to tell, but I think he's not set up for it.
Serve is out.
15-40.
15-40.
Love this start from Bobicki Stojisavljevic in this deciding third. Love that play. Fakes the drive and then takes the right
Game.
choice, which is the
2
quick
games to
lob.
love.
Forces the down up
Stoy
overhead, and then you get the
Savljevic,
better
Bobicki
drive
are
on the
leading.
next ball from Stojisavljevic.
Yeah, no, that's their. As I said, we talked about the, you know,
To love.
you know, I think Anton Bobinski, he really changed his kind of like attitude look a little bit, his approach, and
Oh,
started
what a turn.
picked
Love
up his game
15.
enough to hasn't had made really many mistakes except for that one game with the 3 forehands.
Right, no. They've totally changed the tenor of this fadeaway,
15-0.
back screen, in the green, off your heels forehand.
Mm-hmm.
It's the discipline that's going to kill him, but wow. 15-all, that's a terrific return. Stojisavljevic is starting to dial in with his overheads, as is Bobicki in a different way. Bobicki's just getting good at pushing the ball to the right spot, time and again.
Ball's
But
out.
Stojisavljevic is doing damage.
It's but the confidence. is
30,
there.
15.
When you have
Yeah,
the
but he's also
confidence.
just adjusted, I
Yep.
think, Matt. I think he's adjusted. Oh, great move.
40,
Good
15.
play. 40-15. This is where, if I'm Nathan, I step back and I take my partner aside and I go, you know, hey, we got this. We
Oh,
just
yeah.
have to do these 2 things, 3 things. Don't feel like this is getting away from us. Let's go. And you can tell he's just cutting him in there.
We've all been
But-
there where you feel like no matter what, the momentum is just.
See, those are just like, he's just hitting them, and
40,
Bobicki bit into
30.
it. He went for the shot, as opposed to, I think if I'm Bobicki,
40,
I
30.
say to myself, look, we're starting to upset these guys. We're getting them a little in their heads. I'm not going to give him, like, I'm going to keep doing this. I'm going to lob that ball, lob that right ball, look for the right shot. I think that was just long.
Yeah,
Ball was long.
Yep.
Deuce.
You're right. I mean, it's.
Deuce.
I think one of the big things is, you're a puncher. You know, we're not in a heavyweight fight where you're one punch away from winning it. You just got to sometimes keep the body blows going, and going and going.
That's smart. I love this. Now they're switching in the backcourt, and there's a good captain play. You know, because they're working over Humphries now. You can see it. They're going at it, and they're trying to gate him into it. And when you put a different player on a different side, it changes Stojisavljevic's ability to attack. Because now, ooh, that's great. Nice.
Just
Advantage server.
But he's a little out of sorts. He's fading away again. Ball's pushing back in there.
And that's where it comes where
The captain's got to slow him down here, take him
Yep.
aside.
The experience of just do it again.
Smart again.
Right.
Smart from Stojisavljevic. Lob volley retreat makes it an easy transition back. You know you're going to lose the hands battle with the player coming forward in a high ball. That's it. Wow, great lob.
That's just frustration.
Game.
Unfortunately. is
Babitsky,
the lob hits
Stoye
the line and you're like, what do I need to
Doing
do?
so
And
well. Sorry.
Well, that one there, I think it's
Stoy
tough. I mean,
Savlovich, they lead 3 games to
that
love in the
transition
third
ball
set.
can be made, but there's a lot of time for your opponents to get into net on that one. So it has to be extra good, and sometimes discretion's a better part of valor, as they say, and you should lob it up. All right, crunch time here, 3-0 lead for Bobitsky and Stoyasavljevic. It's time for a regroup from Humphries and Lefevre, and you can really see how this match has shifted and how the play from Bobitsky and Stoyasavljevic at the net has really changed things.
Yeah, no, exactly. I love that they did. They switched in the backcourt. They showed something different, even though it's never too late. They showed something different. And, if you're
Oh. Yeah, and I thought the last 3 drives from Humphries in that game were a little bit frustration drives. You know what I mean? Like, just
I never had that
little
tennis.
frustration.
I never had the tennis game that I could just take over like some of these people have, and so I've never had to deal with that. But when you get frustrated out here and you're used to being able to hit your way out of something, and it doesn't work.
no, and I'm going to tell you, Bobitsky and I think
was
that
good.
was good. That's a confidence builder. He was still fading away and
15
moved
love.
back into the green, but anything you get at this point in time in a big
take.
moment, and that's a big moment, just winning that 1 point. And because it all just starts with 1 point,
30 love.
right?
You can
And that's
see
how it goes.
The miss there by Schwarzkopf, and then the first thing Anton did, he said, "Don't worry about it, but slow it down."
Yeah, we all know momentum is such a huge
Ball was
thing.
out.
That was out. So
30-15.
30-15. But they just need to get that first game, Humphries and Lefevre, and it can catapult them. We'll see. There's 2 faults. Little hang dog.
30,
Keep his head.
30.
His positive body language.
So we're out here watching this and listening, watching these guys, and Mr.
Nice.
Number one seed in this tournament.
Oh, that is so perfect.
Great catch.
Advantage receiver.
Perfect play. He pushed him back with the lob, set up the forehand. Stoyasavljevic just reads it, and they get the up volley, and he puts it away. I love it. Wow. So we just got a score over there. Thank you, Jerry. Chizikwe and Mushunga win the first set against Kaler and Compton 6-3. Great effort from those guys. And to me, Matt, it's only been a matter of time for them. They've been right there, and they're playing at a really, really good level. We'll see if Kaler and Compton, are clearly one of the favorites here. If the seeds have an answer in the second.
You can call them the last year Kaler Compton, but that's what they were. They played all the tournaments.
Deuce.
They've gotten better and better. They've been coming back, and they're lovely talking to those guys and Genius and
Genius
listening to those guys.
It's an all-time name.
But they're talking about learning and getting better. And that's exactly, I remember watching Compton and Kaler over the last couple of years, just watching those guys, where they're going from a 32 to a 16 to an 8 to last year a semifinal. And
Well, they're definitely learning and getting better, Matt. I tell you, this game is so crucial. It is
Deuce.
break point, and I feel like this is possibly a mini match point here
that's back to
Bobitsky and Stoyasavljevic. This is break point for a 4-love lead, and they got to get that first game under their belt, get something good to happen. It all starts to feel like it's all going bad, and Stojanovic and Bobitsky have made the necessary adjustments.
And the one thing about the boys, they're not giving them anything again. They're really just.
No, you're 100% right. They're
sometimes
giving
when you
them
get closer to the finish line. Yeah, you want to race to it, and they're not. They're sticking to their game plan now. They look like they talked about what they needed to do, and.
No, they definitely made a shift, and you can see, and they've stopped hitting any balls that allow real good backcourt offense from Humphreys and Fever, and they've done such a terrific job taking and holding the net, and then they've just been much more disciplined in the backcourt. Instead of giving away points, they're taking the right drives while the guys are off the net, and as a consequence, they're up, 3-love now in the third. And the flip side of it is, on the other side, the other guys, they needed to see this happening and be able to kind of like stem the tide. Oh, Stojanovic get caught cheating up a little, and there was a great cutoff there from the Fever.
Thinking during that point that, the one thing too is they kind of kept Nathan at check, meaning they're not allow him to run around at the top of the net like they were in the first set. A couple balls that they hit behind them, kept him back a little bit.
Oh!
Advantage server.
That was a decent look there from Stojanovic. He missed it though, and at this point, if they get this game after having a break point down, that'll be a great start. He's calling time. Not sure why, but seen by the umpire, and got to play when your opponents are ready. Did hold up his hand. That's a great look. Yeah, the positioning from Stojanovic and Bobitsky has gotten so much better too.
Ball was out.
Just out. I mean, we got a good look at that. And it was really, really
so
tight.
Close.
Confirmed by the umpire though. That's a good dig. But I want them to be careful. I want them to drive when the other guys are off the net, not on. I mean, it's a basic construct of paddle, right? Drive it when they're off the net.
You lop to drive, and if you get them off, take them out. But no, I think one of the biggest things when these guys is watching them now. All these guys are so used to,
See, but that's what Nathan Lefevre is so good at.
Yep.
Taking your off-pace drive, just poaching it and slapping it back at you. I think to me that's playing towards his strengths.
But if you notice the weights,
Deuce.
they were hitting some of those overheads. They were doing a little bit like Bobinski and Svastic, which were doing with their overheads and just not hitting the cutters, pushing them up the middle.
Wow. Oh, those lobs, two of them right on the baseline. Just incredible. I mean, that's so good from Bobitsky and Stojanovic. They have really, really tightened up their games. They're all over the Knicks. These are just spotting balls. gotten smart. Oh,
Great hit.
come on. Oh,
Skip
so
over.
beautifully
Advantage
done.
receiver.
Wow. All right, another break point. Way to hang in there from Humphries and Lefevre, though. But Stojisavljevic and Bobitsky have gotten so good and tight at the net. And you notice
Deuce.
big miss there.
That was too
Every
nonchalant.
ball.
I mean, it's easy for us to stay here, but it's major point. 4-0.
Yeah, you can't miss the return, right? Yeah.
Don't be so nonchalant about it. Don't it's just.
Advantage server.
We'll take them.
And then it gets in your head for the next point.
Yeah, well, see if they can close it out. They just need a game. And this is such a crucial one. Oh. Yeah, he got pegged. He's saying he's sorry, but, it was a good shot. He bounced it up to him, gave him the spike, and Lefevre knows he almost deserved that one, right? Yeah. That's out.
Ball was out.
Another break
Advantage
point.
receiver.
Again, 1 second ago we're talking about a bad return, and here's the game point, and then it's one bad overhead. Now they're at a point.
Bad overhead and a fault. Oh.
Deuce.
It's a great shot from Humphries. A surprising misread, though, by Bobitsky. Just got caught. See, that's the play, that off-pace ball. I think he's got to take it down the line if he's going to do it. That's good pace. Beautiful.
Advantage server.
But see, it started with the off-pace drives again, and then Lefevre putting the thing down in there. That's not the ultimate way they've been winning their points.
The last few games, up until this last game, Bobinski's been going down the line, or if he's going to hit it, he was hitting it. And that's, now he went back to the off-pace cross court and.
Great read.
Game. Lefevre
You rarely want
Humphries.
both
They
players
trail
running
3
into the
games to
same
1
time. You want
in
one
the
player
third
trailing
set.
behind. And that is huge for Huntsville just to get a game, right?
And it looked like, again, it kind of looked like they got the game out of that, but it's one of those where they fought hard, and then at the end it was just handed to them.
Oh yeah, no, I think on balance, Bobitsky and Stojisavljevic are playing so much better and making it so much harder on those hands. So much harder on Humphries and Lefevre. But there, they gave them a few shots back, and they got off script twice or 2 or 3 times. I'll tell you, Stojisavljevic is getting very active, closing in the net beautifully.
15 love.
The volleys there, though, they made probably,
they made amazing volleys.
5 or 6 volleys from below the net that they hit back, and they
take it.
Luck.
Could use it at this point.
15.
Just reading the volley so well. He's missed a couple lobs
30,
there.
15.
Caught. That's incredible. He does that so well. He holds the continental and he just flicks it over. It's pretty impressive, actually. It's not easy to be as precise as he is. So that's a dangerous blitz there. Return is not low enough, but hands are amazing.
some people might look at those overheads and go, well, where's the spin and everything? They're perfect because they can't get attacked. They're putting pressure on, but not like, you know.
That was a little dangerous, but if there's a shot you want Humphries to hit, it's that forehand right now. He's clearly not feeling super confident. And they're perfect, not just perfect, they're perfect for the situation too. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because oftentimes you got to tailor your shots based on who you're playing against, where you're hitting the ball, where the safe space on the court is, how your opponents are playing that day. And you find those areas and, you know, you just keep working them. Great job, though. This is a good point all around.
Yes.
Smart. Yeah, he's just pounding it in there. That's going. And it's out.
Always
and
out.
that is a perfect point from Stoyasovljevic
Advantage server.
and Bobicki, giving them nothing they want, and then eventually they just get an error. You know,
when
after 50 lobs.
And then when they do get a drive driven at
it's
them,
40-30.
Their hands were so good, and their positioning was great. They're playing together as a team there, and that's a big thing sometimes is watching some of these players that are, you know, getting into it. And when your partner's hitting the overhead, the best thing you can do is put yourself in a position to help them just in case. And all four of these players have been doing that, and it makes a big difference because if they do hit a bad overhead, because as you said, 50 in a point, they're in a position.
See, but what's happening here is, Humphries is letting that ball drop a little.
Bobicki,
He's hitting more of
they
a
lead
probing
4
drop.
games to
He's
1
not hitting the ball from high to
the
low,
third set.
downward.
Guys had 7 games,
So
new
they're
ball.
not, and they're on top of the net and hitting volleys through, and you've got Stoyasovljevic and Bobicki on the net, and Lefevre's just getting caught, you know, in the in-between zone.
But that's where we talked about, I think as we talked about the experience is the, you know, not the experience as in, you know, oh, I shouldn't drive that ball, but you'll see a lot of the players, like you can get away with that until you play the higher players more often that can volley that. Oh wait,
they're
if
leading
I take
4
it up
games to
top,
1 in
I
the
can hit
third
down
set.
on the ball.
Yeah, and it's also just a lack of cohesive teamwork between Lefevre and, meaning if Nathan Lefevre's going to rush forward, he's got to know Humphries is taking the ball from high to low, down and early. And Humphries is letting that ball drop and spinning the ball up. It's not a bad drive that he hit, but it's not appropriate for a blitz.
Correct.
Right? And you have to have that sort of cohesive mindset on this stuff if it's going to work out for you. Oh!
Brand new ball goes.
Brand new ball, and he didn't like it. He puts it in the, you can see at the top of our screen there.
15
Compton
left.
and Kaler are going to play a lead on this point from the ball flying over. So they're going to send it back just out of the reach of Stoyasovljevic there.
$30 love.
Oh, Roman's not liking this new ball yet.
Roman's not like he thinks he's the new ball's causing him some issues. Well, he certainly missed the first couple with it.
No, it's
Oh, good leave there
40
from Humphries.
love.
Looked like he was going to hit it, and then he just left off. Terrific. Spun off his paddle.
Lefevre Humphries, they trail 4 games to 2, third set.
That is a great, quick, good, solid hold there. Got a couple errors and then closed it out. That's what they need now. They need to play good points from the backcourt now.
15 love.
great first volley.
And they're finding their spots to keep the back, you know, place that ball now. And it's just been tough for them to find the offense without, and it's been really tough for them to get Stojsavljevic and Bobicki out of position. You know, they're volleying really with ease these days, you know.
The majority of the volleys they're hitting, too, they're closer to the net than they are to the service line because they're moving into position.
30, love.
See, that point, though, is not set up. The guy's not off the net. You got to get him off first. You got a lot better. Know when the right opportunity is. Because even as talented as he is as a player, it's just the odds aren't in your favor.
Love.
Back in the brown, ball's low, both players in position.
Looks
And
like
you just don't hit it.
A little frustration because, again,
Maybe.
you're hitting great shots, and when you hit great shots and you don't win
45.
the point, it makes it tougher.
Yeah, but if your opponents are right on the net, Matt, you know, these guys are great players. They're not bad players.
40,
he missed that
30.
one, but these guys make volleys. They've been making them all, you know, for a while now. It's not a surprise. You know, you can't beat it through them. You got to earn your way. It's tough. Oh,
Good
nice
pick up.
take. There it is,
Game.
5-2.
Boblitsky, Stojsavljevic. They lead 5 games to 2 in the third set. 5-2.
But with Bobicki's, you know, positioning, and with Stojsavljevic's positioning, if I am Fever and Humphries, I'm going to say, listen, we're not going to drive any balls that are net high or lower at this point in time. Just none. Just don't. You know what I mean? Like, and then wait. You're going to have to lob better to earn your way back into this. Oh, that's great off pace. That's
Love,
a terrific
15.
shot.
And you've noticed a couple times that Bobinski was hitting balls down the line, down the line, down the line. It's the first time Nathan really had to cover the line because
Yeah, he was frozen there.
he was frozen, so it opened up that middle drive. That's what it does after a while, you know.
Ball was out, 15 all.
No. Oh,
15-30.
30. 2 points from the match for Bobicki and Stojsavljevic. Oh, he's got it, and it is
15,
double
Match
match
40.
point, Matt. Oof, that was close. Wow, nice dig. And there it
Game,
is.
set, and match.
Game, set, match. So,
Babitsky.
Matt, any
they
final
win
thoughts on the match?
No, I think it was
1-6.
a great job by
6-3,
Bobinski and
6-2.
Sarasvit to come and to
Congratulations,
ride
guys.
ship,
Good match. Good
put a
fight.
head on their shoulders and get back, and then they have to get a good night's sleep because they got a big match tomorrow morning.
Well, it's a terrific run from them. They made terrific adjustments. And we're going to be back tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. And we'll see everybody there. And that's a wrap delivered by Uline.